Chapter 425. Soon, Zhao Feng and the towering tree Yao came to an agreement. As long as Zhao Feng fulfilled his promise, the towering tree Yao would use the wood spirit essence soul to help him comprehend a thing or two. Amongst the trees, Yi Yanyu, Li Hong and Imo Gon of the Black Cliff Palace floated in the clouds and watched the situation within the towering tree Yao. This Zhao Feng has successfully teamed up with the towering tree Yao. Li Hong gritted his teeth. He had just escaped from the gates of hell, and his back was drenched in cold sweat. The geniuses of the three groups all realized the change in the situation. At this point in time, Zhao Feng stood on the branches of the towering tree Yao calmly and didn't receive any attacks from the towering tree Yao. This person has hidden himself in the three sects and is like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Several disciples were killed by him, and even Yu Luo, who was at the true lord rank, died. If it wasn't for my quick reaction, Brother Li Hong would have probably. Killing intent spread across Yi Yenyu's face as her breathing quickened and her chest heaved up and down. Ever since she had entered the Purple Saint ruins, there had never been anyone that made her so angry that she wanted to kill them herself. There was someone in the same generation who could use her to such an extent. From the beginning, Yi Yenyu seemed to be threatening Zhao Feng, but in reality, she was his biggest shield. If it wasn't for Yi Yenyu, Zhao Feng wouldn't have been able to gain a foothold in the three sections. If it wasn't for me, Yu Luo and the others wouldn't have died. Yi Yenyu blamed herself and her face was full of shame and guilt. She clenched her fists and her teeth almost broke her lips. This kind of humiliation and guilt caused her killing intent and hatred to rise to the extreme. However, her state of mind was very strong. She quickly stabilized her state of mind and calmed her mind. Yi Yenyu understood that against someone like Zhao Feng who specialized in mental energy techniques, any flaw in one's emotions could be used. Goddess Yi. Before all of you, the evil teeth trio of our Black Cliff Palace basically died at his hands. He even managed to escape Qi Gui's tracking technique unscathed. Imo Gon's expression was solemn. He had heard about Zhao Feng's situation from Qi Gui. Junior Sister Yi, with your intelligence, how could you be deceived by that kid and use like this? Li Hong took a deep breath, feeling a little dissatisfied. If it wasn't for Yi Yenyu acting as Zhao Feng's protective umbrella, it would have been difficult for him to survive in the cracks of the three sections. This is my fault. Don't worry, I will kill this person with my own hands. Yi Yenyu's face was resolute and cold. Meanwhile, she pondered for a moment. How did she fall into Zhao Feng's trap? In a flash, Yi Yenyu figured out the cause and effect of the matter. There was a crucial point in that terrifying plan. Otherwise, Yi Yenyu would never have been used. Little, thieving, cat. Yi Yenyu gritted her teeth and her body trembled as she spat out word by word. That was the most subtle part of the plan. Zhao Feng and Yi Yenyu didn't know each other and had never met before. Since the two didn't know each other and didn't even understand each other, how could Zhao Feng plot against her? The real key was the little thieving cat. When the little thieving cat met Yi Yenyu, it purposely led the latter to its previous owner to threaten Zhao Feng. Little thieving cat. Yi Yenyu's face was cold as she spread out her spiritual sense to search for the little thieving cat. However, her spiritual sense scanned the surroundings including her clothes and the interspatial dimension, but she couldn't find any traces of the little thieving cat. Meow meow. A silver-gray cat the size of a palm stood on Zhao Feng's shoulder. One human and one cat, one silent and one moving, they were one entity. Little thieving cat, your plan has made me feel bad. This journey was really dangerous. But the rewards weren't bad. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and reached out to pick up the cat's ear. Meow meow. The little thieving cat's paws moved quickly and started to complain. Immediately after, the little thieving cat spat out a piece of life-returning grass which landed in Zhao Feng's hand. My life-returning grass, little thieving cat, you dared to steal it. Yi Yenyu's face alternated between green and white. Her cold and hateful eyes seemed to be able to kill someone. With her quiet and tranquil personality, she had never been so angry before. The little thieving cat is quite sentimental and only stole a piece of your life-returning grass under my orders. Otherwise, would your interspatial dimension be so complete? It also told me not to kill you. Zhao Feng shook his head. Although the little thieving cat had tricked Yi Yanyu, it only stole a piece of life-returning grass and completed Zhao Feng's orders. After all, Yi Yanyu treated the little thieving cat quite well and didn't kill it. I want to personally kill this brat. I don't need him to be merciful. Little thieving cat, I don't blame you. After all, you have your own position. Yi Yanyu's eyes became much warmer when they landed on the little thieving cat. When she traveled with the little thieving cat, it gave her a lot of luck and happiness. Meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its paws and gestured as if it was trying to persuade Yi Yanyu. What? You want me to? That's impossible. Hearing this, Yi Yanyu's face went red and she almost spat out blood. Others didn't hear it clearly, but Zhao Feng obviously knew what the little thieving cat meant. Get in. Zhao Feng expressionlessly picked up the little thieving cat by its ears and threw it into his spiritual pet bag. After that, he ignored Yi Yanyu and the other true lord ranks and threw the piece of life-returning grass to the towering tree Yao. This is the life-returning grass, a treasure that can extend one's life. Trust me, I've already fulfilled half of my promise. Zhao Feng said. Life-returning grass. The towering tree Yao was overjoyed and a gust of green wind sucked the life-returning grass away. A lip-like slit opened up on its trunk, and it swallowed the life-returning grass. The life-returning grass was indeed worthy of being a legendary herb. After the towering tree demon consumed it, even the powerful injuries caused by the void god's protection began to rapidly recover. Brat, looks like I've underestimated you. This life-returning grass can heal half of my injuries and is more than enough. However, the other half of your promise is that you need to repel the attacks of these geniuses. It won't be so simple. The towering tree Yao laughed. Zhao Feng stood on the branches and his blue hair blew in the wind. He didn't move and didn't even look. It was as if he had become one with the towering tree Yao. He only defended and didn't attack. This was Zhao Feng's plan. The towering tree Yao was Zhao Feng's biggest protection and geographical advantage. The three sects didn't attack recklessly. Maybe. Zhao Feng's betrayal dealt a big blow to the three sects. The five true lord ranks, Yi Yanyu, Zhuangwan, Li Hong, Qi Gui, and Imo Gan gathered together and started to discuss. Of us true lord ranks, Qi Gui specializes in eye bloodlines. I hope you can help out in the future. Yi Yanyu suggested. Of the geniuses that entered the ruins, Qi Gui's eye bloodline could be said to be one of the best. Back in the cave, Qi Gui's eye bloodline had injured Yi Yanyu. Although this brat's eye bloodline is strong, he hasn't reached the true lord rank yet. I have confidence in fighting eye bloodlines. However, I've used forbidden techniques before and my injuries aren't light. I'm not 100% confident. Qi Gui said bitterly. In reality, he was talking to the other two sects. Yi Yanyu and Zhuangwan looked at each other and took out some rare pills and treasures from their interspatial dimension. The three sects took out many precious pills that could heal injuries and even nourish the soul to satisfy Qi Gui. Thank you all for your help. Once I recover a bit and my black wicked eye returns to its peak, I'll have a good fight with that brat. Qi Gui's voice was hoarse, the deathly white ghost flames in his eyes condensed and twisted, a soul-shocking, dark point appeared at the center. Everyone was full of expectation. Qi Gui's eye bloodline was something that all the true lord ranks present had experienced. Even if they couldn't beat Zhao Feng, they could at least hold the advantage. It could be foreseen that there would be an exciting battle between eye bloodlines. I'm looking forward to it too. Zhao Feng stood on the branches and every action of the three sects didn't escape his god's spiritual eye. Zhao Feng had seen Qi Gui's black wicked eye before and had even experienced it himself. Before, Qi Gui's dark light ghost eye had almost forced Zhao Feng into despair. If it wasn't for the fact that Zhao Feng didn't care about the price and destroyed the dark light ghost eye, he probably wouldn't have been able to escape. If it was before, Zhao Feng didn't have much confidence in fighting Qi Gui head-on. After all, the difference in cultivation was too big. But now, Zhao Feng's progress in the ruins was fast and his usage of the god's spiritual eye had become more profound. So. Another piercing sound came from the distance, and it was obvious that it wasn't someone from the righteous side. Great, our Moon Demon Palace's reinforcements have finally arrived. The geniuses of the Moon Demon Palace exclaimed. Soon after, a group of reinforcements from the Moon Demon Palace arrived, and the leader was a black-armored bald man whose cultivation had reached the True Lord rank. The number of True Lord ranks increased to 6. This wasn't the end. In the next hour, many reinforcements arrived one after another. Some of them were from the 3 major sects, and some were geniuses from the 1-star sects under the 3 major sections. Time passed. More and more geniuses gathered in the mysterious canyon. All of this was because of Yi Yenyu's faux god protection. Its might was shocking, and everyone within 1,000 miles could feel it. Over 100 geniuses have arrived. Zhao Feng murmured to himself. 2 hours later, there were more than 10 True Lord ranks present. 2 or 3 of them had broken through to the True Lord rank in the Purple Saint Ruins. After all, there were many peak True Mystic rank geniuses in the 3 sects, and it wasn't surprising for a few to break through to the True Lord rank. 10 True Lord ranks. Over 100 geniuses, and none of them are weaker than the overwhelming prodigies of the Azure Flower Continent. Luckily Lu Tianyi hasn't arrived yet, and I've told the Purple Saint Partial Spirit to cause some trouble for him. Zhao Feng's heart wasn't calm. It was hard to imagine what kind of challenge awaited him. The trembling of the towering tree Yao under his feet couldn't escape Zhao Feng's senses. Indeed, if nothing unexpected happened, given the towering tree demon's condition, it would only be able to hold on for 2 hours at most before it died. Chapter 426. Mysterious Canyon, Forest. The auras of the 10 True Lord ranks spread across heaven and earth. The clouds in the sky were filled with different auras of different elements. At this point in time, there were more than 100 geniuses from the 3 sections. Human, looks like the other half of your promise won't be fulfilled. I won't be able to escape this calamity. The sorrowful voice of the towering tree Yao resounded in Zhao Feng's ears. Under normal situations, even if there were twice as many True Lord ranks, they wouldn't be able to do anything to the towering tree Yao. However, the towering tree Yao had opened a gap with the Void God protection. There was no barrier in that direction, and the trunk was injured and hadn't healed yet. This meant that the geniuses of the 3 sects could attack the trunk of the towering tree Yao without any obstruction. Although the trunk was the strongest part of the towering tree Yao, it couldn't block the attacks of numbers. In this gap, the towering tree Yao could only take hits and couldn't even fight back. Even those at the origin core realm wouldn't be able to block it. Zhao Feng stood expressionlessly in the dense foliage. It's indeed more troublesome than I imagined. Compared to the towering tree Yao, Zhao Feng was much calmer. Human, do you have a plan or not? What do I need to do? Maybe Zhao Feng's calmness gave the towering tree Yao a sliver of hope. Although the towering tree Yao was stronger, it was in a situation where it couldn't do anything. So, the only sliver of hope was on Zhao Feng. Wait for them to come. Zhao Feng didn't want to explain too much. He opened his god's spiritual eye and inspected the situation of the 10 True Lord ranks. Under the god's spiritual eye, every True Lord rank's cultivation, skill, and state of injuries were all visible. 10 True Lord ranks. 3 late-stage True Lord ranks, 4 early-stage True Lord ranks, and 3 early-stage True Lord ranks. Zhao Feng murmured. In reality, of the 10 True Lord ranks, only those at the late-stage True Lord rank, or more accurately, Yi Yenyu and Zhuang Wan, made Zhao Feng wary. Yi Yenyu and Zhuang Wan were stronger than normal late-stage True Lord ranks and were comparable to the Deputy Patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. In a one-on-one fight, Zhao Feng had no confidence in facing one of them. Of course. The current situation was no longer a one-on-one problem. Zhao Feng was about to be ganged up on. It had begun. So the 10 true Lord ranks led the 100 true Spirit Realm geniuses towards the gap. The power of the Void God's protection cleared all the obstacles at the gap, revealing the trunk of the towering tree demon that had yet to fully recover. Attack! The 10 true Lord ranks all used long-range skills and secret techniques towards the trunk of the tree Yao. The God's spiritual eye contained a weird power that could shock ghosts and gods, and it was accompanied by a bone-chilling power. Instantly, the ghost claw was pushed back by the God's spiritual eye in the simplest and most direct way and almost collapsed. The ghost bridge faintly trembled and showed signs of becoming unstable. Go! Qi Gui lightly patted a ghost artifact pouch on his waist and hundreds of sinister ghosts flew out. Some were in human form and some were in beast form. Their auras suddenly became tyrannical. A portion of those ghosts fused with the Void Ghost Bridge, causing it to become even more stable and almost corporeal. There was also a portion of ghosts that screamed under the power of the Ghost Bridge and turned into a ghastly white flame that followed the Ghost Bridge and burned around Zhao Feng's body. He's using items to strengthen his eye bloodline. Zhao Feng couldn't help but open his eyes. So, before the battle, Qi Gui had given many conditions to the other two sects in order to deal with Zhao Feng, and the other members of the Black Cliff Palace had also provided him with many resources. Now that he was fighting against Zhao Feng, Qi Gui was fully prepared. As the hundreds of ghosts merged, Qi Gui's black wicked eye's attacks became fiercer. Brother Qi Gui's black wicked eye has many methods. Even that bitchy Yenyu has suffered in front of the black wicked eye. The geniuses of the Black Cliff Palace laughed weirdly and were pleased. The other 9 true Lord ranks were also very satisfied with the situation. From the looks of it, even if Qi Gui can't completely defeat this brat, he should be able to suppress him. This way, we can attack without worry. The other true Lord ranks all nodded their heads. Yi Yenyu's eyes flashed. Qi Gui indeed didn't disappoint us. However, just to be safe, we'll send another 2 true Lord ranks to help Qi Gui. If we work well together, we might be able to kill this person in one move. For some reason, she wasn't at ease with the battle between Qi Gui and Zhao Feng. Perhaps Zhao Feng's previous schemes against her had left a shadow in her heart because of all the mysteries that could not be seen through. So. Another 2 true Lord ranks flew out from the 9 true Lord ranks to help Qi Gui. Chapter 427. When Zhao Feng and Qi Gui used their eye bloodlines to fight, another 2 of the 10 true Lord ranks came to help. A total of 3 true Lord ranks with Qi Gui as the main force against Zhao Feng. A measly true mystic rank brat can die without regrets if he can stall 3 true Lord ranks. One of them was a female at the true Lord rank. Her face was as white as snow and she wore an elegant dress. She had a self-mocking tone. She was one of the 2 true Lord ranks that came to help Qi Gui and came from the Pure Moon spiritual sect. She had broken through to the true Lord rank in the Purple Saint Ruins. Sister Gong, don't underestimate this person. Someone that Qi Gui personally took action and Sister Yi placed so much importance on isn't simple. Brother Yu Luo is a good example. The other early-stage true Lord rank black-faced youth warned. Brother Yu Luo was once one of the 3 most handsome men of the spiritual sect. I liked him for many years but didn't dare to say anything. Now that I've reached the true Lord rank, I had a chance to be with him. But now that I've reached the true Lord rank, my dream has been destroyed. Tears flickered in the eyes of the elegant woman in palace attire, but they were soon replaced by a frosty killing intent. It was because of this that she volunteered to help Qi Gui. She wouldn't miss the chance to kill Zhao Feng. I can't drag it out any longer. Zhao Feng saw the 2 true Lord ranks from the corner of his eye. At this point in time, a ghastly white flame burned on the ghost bridge and spread to Zhao Feng's body. This flame could burn one's life force and corrode the soul. It was extremely troublesome to deal with. Qi Gui's eye bloodline and usage opened Zhao Feng's eyes. If it was under normal circumstances, Zhao Feng would definitely learn a lot from fighting Qi Gui. However, the situation was dire. The towering tree Yao wouldn't be able to last more than 2 hours and Zhao Feng would have to face the other true lord ranks. Lightning Fire God's Eye. Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with a transparent light of lightning and fire. Boom! In a split second, a large patch of translucent, green, and translucent thunder fire bombarded the ghost bridge. Shrill screams came from the pale white flames as they quickly dimmed and extinguished. Lightning Fire Eye Technique. Qi Gui's mind shook as a destructive aura followed the ghost bridge and attacked his black evil eye. Wang! The illusory ghost bridge, which had been strengthened by countless malicious ghosts, trembled, and its light dimmed, almost disappearing. A large amount of vengeful spirits and ghosts' power was destroyed by the terrifying power of thunder and fire, causing green smoke to rise. At that moment, Crimson Ghost's soul trembled as if he had been struck by lightning and fire. Boom! Following this, Zhao Feng's second lightning fire God's Eye descended, targeting Qi Gui himself. Ka-cha! The illusory ghost bridge bore the brunt of the attack and instantly shattered. Demon God shattering the void. Qi Gui's black evil eye spun and the dark dot in the center actually shot out a dark ray of light that barely blocked the thunder fire God's eye. That dark ray was extremely mysterious. It could annihilate matter and see through souls. Pew pew pew. A hole was pierced through the lightning and fire by Qi Gui and the power of the attack was halved. Not only that, there was still a third of the dark ray of light that shot towards Zhao Feng. Its speed was the same as the lightning fire God's eye and the instant it was shot out, it was almost undodgeable. And, this dark ray of light, condenses the power of the eye into a line and attacks the enemy directly. The speed of Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye had reached a limit. In terms of thinking speed, Zhao Feng was countless times faster than the dark ray of light. This was a powerful ability given by the God's spiritual eye. God's spiritual eye, duplication. The dark blue dot in Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly lit up. At that instant, the chilling pond in the dimension of his left eye started to ripple like a bottomless abyss. Pew pew. A cold ray of light shot out from his left eye and clashed with Qi Gui's dark ray of light. Qi Gui's dark ray of light first froze before shattering. What's going on? It's the same secret technique as mine, only the element is different. Qi Gui's heart shook. He could only watch as his ghost god breaking the void was broken by Zhao Feng using the same secret technique. Pew! The remaining lightning fire on Qi Gui's body hadn't been extinguished yet and the cold ray of light still had half of its power left. Instantly, a weird coldness pierced into his flesh and soul. Qi Gui hiccuped as he experienced the pain of fire and ice. This move can be seen as a variation of the Eye of Ice Soul. It's called Ice Soul Ray or Ice Soul Charge. Zhao Feng gave a light laugh. The Eye of Ice Soul mainly focused on mental energy and froze the thoughts of the opponent. It was a continuous attack. This Ice Soul Ray, on the other hand, was launched by channeling Ice Elemental Eye bloodline power to launch the Ice Soul Charge. The Ice Soul Ray was an instantaneous burst of speed similar to Qi Gui's Demon God shattering the void. It could even block other eye techniques. Duplication secret technique? Your eye bloodline, it's actually. Qi Gui was tongue-tied. At this point in time, he was being attacked by lightning fire and ice soul and was slightly injured. However, it wasn't as shocking as this scene. Eye of Illusion. Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye opened once again. Shua! Qi Gui's eyes flashed. In the next instant, Qi Gui was situated in an icy cold space with lightning chains binding him. Illusion space restraining my consciousness? Qi Gui was faintly surprised but he didn't panic. He had obviously seen this eye bloodline technique before. Paw! 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 Zhao Feng waved a barbed iron whip and hit Qi Gui. In essence, he was torturing Qi Gui's consciousness. When a person's consciousness was tortured to the limit, they would either faint or their consciousness would collapse. Chi Gui obviously understood his situation. The problem was that he was in mid-air and in a few breaths he would fall down and become fertilizer for the towering tree Yao. Resentful ghost spirit explosion. Chi Gui gritted his teeth and the black nose ring on his nose vibrated and released a strong ghost power. In the real world, Chi Gui's forehead struggled and a burning ghost power lit up on his body which created an indescribable shaking of the soul. Buzz! The illusory space trembled, and a large amount of dark black chi waves rushed out and rolled out. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. The consumption of the god's spiritual eye's illusion space instantly increased by several times. Chi Gui wanted to forcefully break through. If it was a normal one-on-one battle, Zhao Feng would definitely fight to the end as he had confidence in the god's spiritual eye's source of mental energy. However, the situation now was different. His opponent wasn't just Chi Gui, but the other 9 true lord ranks. The reinforcements of the other 2 true lord ranks had arrived. What's going on? Chi Gui seems to be suppressed. The black-faced youth and elegant girl were both surprised. Not long ago, the eye bloodline battle between the 2 geniuses was extremely intense and some of the spectating geniuses felt their hearts tremble. However, it was obvious that Zhao Feng had turned the situation around and suppressed Chi Gui. There were burn marks on Chi Gui's body and his face was pale. Sweat appeared on his forehead as he struggled. We've underestimated this person. Even Chi Gui can't suppress him. Yi Yenyu's expression was solemn. Luckily, the 2 true lord ranks reinforcements had arrived. Zhao Feng and Chi Gui are in the most important battle and can't be distracted. This is the best chance to kill him. A layer of cold killing intent appeared on the elegant woman's snow-white face. That's right. We can't help with eye bloodline techniques, but if we take care of Zhao Feng, everything will be solved. The black-faced youth nodded his head. They were all smart and could see the crux of the matter. So. The 2 true lord ranks, 1 male and 1 female, flew through the air towards Zhao Feng. Although Zhao Feng was in the forest and had the towering tree Yao as cover, there were 7 other true lord ranks and many true spirit realms protecting him. As long as the 2 didn't go too deep, they still had a high chance of winning. 3 true lord ranks ganging up on me. You overestimate me too much. Zhao Feng's light laughter was accompanied by a lethal killing intent. Shua! Zhao Feng retracted his god's spiritual eye. On the other side, Chi Gui's face was pale white as he struggled and his consciousness returned to reality. His body shook and he almost fell to the ground. At this moment, Chi Gui saw the other 2 true lord ranks close in on Zhao Feng. Don't! Chi Gui cursed in his heart. Through the eye bloodline battle just then, he knew how terrifying Zhao Feng was. Putting aside those at the true spirit realm, even normal true lord ranks would find it hard to block his eye bloodline technique. All he could do was use the remaining 60% of his black wicked eye to stall Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng ignored his black wicked eye and his target fell on the 2 true lord ranks. Stay here. Zhao Feng suddenly waved his hand. Shua! Suddenly, 2 dark silver shadows leaped out from beneath the soil. They were about 10 to 20 feet tall, and they attacked the black-faced youth and the elegant woman from behind. That's... How is this possible? Not good. Chi Gui's eyes flashed as he exclaimed. The 2 figures were the dark silver ghost corpses and their auras were comparable to the true lord rank ghost corpses. Instantly, the 2 true lord ranks were pincered by Zhao Feng and the 2 dark silver ghost corpses. The one who bore the brunt of the attack was the elegant woman in palace attire. She lagged behind a little and was immediately pounced on by the 2 poison corpses lying in ambush. Save me! The elegant woman's expression changed. She had just reached the true lord rank not long ago and was in danger of being ambushed by 2 ghost corpses. Shoo, the 2 dark silver ghost corpses waved their scorpion claws at the elegant woman under Zhao Feng's control. The elegantly dressed woman panicked as her protective chi of true spirit was torn apart by the sharp claws. Shwa! A bloody gash was left on her snow-white skin. The instant she was poisoned, her blood froze and she was half a step into the gates of hell. Shwa! Immediately following that, her snow-white body was pierced and bitten into pieces by the two ghost corpses. No matter how beautiful she was just a white bone. This scene made the 7 true Lord ranks take in a cold breath. Sister Gong. The black-faced youth's heart went cold as he was dazed by this scene. His first reaction wasn't to take revenge for his junior sister but to run. Too terrifying. This Xiao Feng had hidden his strength so deeply that he had hidden 2 ghost corpses in secret. Eye of Ice Soul. However, just as he flew out a few yards, a weird coldness spread across his body. With the black-faced youth's early-stage true Lord rank cultivation, his thoughts were frozen and his reactions were even slower than those at the true human rank. Shu'af, the 2 ghost corpses roared and leapt over, tearing the black-faced true Lord rank into pieces. 2. Xiao Feng remained calm and after killing the 2 true Lord ranks, he controlled the 2 dark silver ghost corpses to attack Qi Gui. The giant scorpion pincer and fiend-eaten crystal bone that he had traded with Xiao Feng had increased the attack power of the 2 dark silver poison corpses, as well as the sharpness of their claws and teeth. Otherwise, Xiao Feng's 2 dark silver ghost corpses wouldn't pose such a threat since they were only barely at the true Lord rank. Junior brother Qi, Black Cliff Palace's Morgan, the youth who was withered like a corpse, let out a low roar and quickly closed in. Go! Qi Gui gritted his teeth and took out the only blood-silver corpse he had left. He originally had 2 true Lord rank ghost corpses but one of them had been smashed into dust by the towering tree Yao. Of course. This blood-silver corpse's battle power was comparable to a normal early-stage true Lord rank and should be able to block it for a while. Bam 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 bam. The 2 dark silver ghost corpses leapt forward and started to fight with the blood-silver corpse. Under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be a problem for Qi Gui to fight 1 against 2. At the very least, he would be able to last for a long time. However, now, he was locked on by the Eye of Ice Soul and his thoughts slowed down. He couldn't control the blood-silver corpse and could only use 60 to 70% of its battle power. In just a few rounds, Xiao Feng's 2 dark silver ghost corpses beat Qi Gui's blood-silver corpse to the point where it couldn't fight back at all. If I'm able to obtain this silver-blooded zombie, then my overall strength will rise by another level. A thought appeared in Xiao Feng's mind. Qi Gui, who was running for his life, didn't know that Xiao Feng's thought had allowed him to escape. If Xiao Feng wanted to kill Qi Gui, he only needed to use 1 dark silver ghost corpse to stall the blood silver corpse and the other to chase after Qi Gui. Along with his Eye of Ice Soul and Lightning Fire God's Eye, he had a 70% chance of killing Qi Gui. However, Xiao Feng suddenly thought of this blood silver corpse. He used his Eye of Ice Soul to lock onto Qi Gui and controlled the 2 ghost corpses to suppress Qi Gui's blood silver corpse. Pang! 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 Qi Gui's blood-silver corpse was soon forced to the ground. Whoosh! Chiao! Chiao! Near the ground, roots broke out of the ground one after another. I still have use for this corpse, Xiao Feng said to the towering tree Yao. Instantly, the silver-blooded zombie was tied up by a dozen or so roots and dragged into the soil. Success! Xiao Feng was very satisfied. He then controlled the 2 ghost corpses to continue chasing after Qi Gui. Qi Gui was still locked onto by the Eye of Ice Soul and hadn't run far. How unfortunate. Although Qi Gui's heart ached from losing a true Lord rank corpse, his life was saved. Brother Qi, I'll save you. Morgan of the Black Cliff Palace rushed over and intercepted the 2 poison corpses. Pang! Pang! At the critical moment, he even ignited his chi of true spirit, causing his battle power to surge as he attempted to break out of the encirclement. Two dark silver poison corpses were wounded by Morgan's arms, and one of them had its arm broken. Die! Zhao Feng's face darkened. The next moment, his god's spiritual eye had been pushed to the limit. Eye of illusion. Ice soul ray. Lightning fire god eye. Whoosh. Xiao. Boom. The three-eye bloodline techniques landed on Morgan. First, the eye of illusion bound Morgan's consciousness and stopped his burning chi of true spirit. This was a disguised weakening of their defense. Xiao. Then, a dark ray pierced into Morgan's body, and the damage to his mind doubled. Boom. The last round of the lightning fire god's eye sent Morgan into a pit of no return. Senior brother Morgan, Chi Gui roared. The geniuses of the Black Cliff Palace exclaimed. Morgan's body and soul burned as he fell from the air and became fertilizer for the towering tree Yao. In reality, Morgan's soul was destroyed before he even hit the ground. This was even more complete than his body being destroyed. On the other side, the 6 true Lord ranks couldn't help but take a cold breath as they saw this scene. How could the 3 bloodline techniques not die when they all landed on the same target? This was the first time Zhao Feng had been so ruthless since he started cultivating. The third. Zhao Feng's expression was cold, but his expression was slightly ugly. Using eye bloodline techniques had expended a lot of energy and his mental energy was slightly weak. This was only because the god's spiritual eye was strong. If it was a normal eye bloodline genius, they probably wouldn't be able to last this long. Human, I admit that I've underestimated you. You've taken care of 3 of the 10 true Lord ranks in an instant. When you used your eye bloodline, even my wood spirit essence soul felt cold. The towering tree Yao's voice sounded with obvious joy. Just how much time had passed? Zhao Feng had already finished off 3 true Lord ranks and he had done it cleanly. Before this, the towering tree Yao only saw Zhao Feng as its last hope and didn't have much hope. Shua! Zhao Feng's figure flashed and landed in the area with the most leaves. He sat down cross-legged with a slightly pale face. Brother Tree Yao, if you can take out the wood spirit essence soul to help me recover and comprehend, our chances of defeating these enemies will be higher. Zhao Feng said coldly after sitting down. How can I do that? You've only completed half of your promise. I know how cunning you humans are. The towering tree Yao obviously wasn't dumb or else it wouldn't have become a spirit. You've also seen that killing 3 true Lord ranks expended a lot of my eye bloodline power. The other 7 true Lord ranks won't fall for the same trick. Zhao Feng continued to persuade. This. The towering tree Yao was slightly hesitant and scared of being tricked by Zhao Feng. More importantly, with your wood spirit essence soul, I'll be able to use an even stronger eye bloodline and that'll be the key to defeating the 10 true Lord ranks. Chapter 429. Between the lush branches and leaves. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and with just a few words, he managed to convince the towering tree Yao. The last sentence made the towering tree Yao's heart move. Before, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline was already extremely strong and made the towering tree Yao's expression change. Then what would the more powerful eye bloodline that Zhao Feng spoke of be like? Furthermore, because of the situation, the towering tree Yao had to give in for its own safety. It was a fact that Zhao Feng had used too much energy to kill 3 true Lord ranks. It wasn't realistic for him to block the remaining 7 true Lord ranks in his current state. Alright, I can lend you the wood spirit essence in advance, but don't play any tricks, the towering tree Yao agreed. As soon as it finished, Zhao Feng felt a surge of pure essence soul enter his mental energy world from the leaves under his feet. The soul essence nourished Zhao Feng's soul and made his mental energy stronger, giving him a feeling of endless growth. The towering tree Yao's age could be counted in the tens of thousands of years and the wood spirit essence soul could be said to be a natural treasure of the soul. Even those at the origin core realm could use the wood spirit essence soul to strengthen their soul and help them comprehend the void god realm. The wood spirit essence soul was even more effective for Zhao Feng. This was because the core of his God's spiritual eye was the Tao of the soul. A shallow layer of it was the Tao of mental energy. Very good. Brother Tri Yao. My soul has become stronger and my recovery speed has increased. With this soul as my shield, I believe my eye bloodline's power will increase dramatically. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. He said this because he wanted to lower the towering Tri Yao's guard and support him. In reality, the current situation was created by Zhao Feng. In reality, he had only used 30 to 40% of his eye bloodline power, but on the surface, it looked like he had used up a lot of his eye bloodline power. In the previous battle, he had even used 3 eye bloodline secret techniques at the same time. Of course, Morgan had to be killed because he was the only one of the 10 true lord ranks that could block the dark silver ghost corpse. Corpse poison. Without Morgan blocking the corpse poison, which other true lord ranks would dare to kill Zhao Feng? After some squandering, Zhao Feng had lost quite a bit of his eye bloodline power, so he could openly ask the towering Tri Yao for something. The towering tree demon saw hope after witnessing its strength earlier, which was why it was convinced by Zhao Feng's words. Now, with the support of the wood spirit essence soul, Zhao Feng's soul had already been nourished and strengthened to a certain extent. His mental energy level showed signs of increasing, and some of the eye bloodline power he had lost was quickly recovering. I hope you won't disappoint me. This wood spirit essence soul is my source. Supporting you will cause my source to leak out. The towering tree demon sighed. He had no other choice in this situation. If it wasn't for the fact that his life was in danger, the towering tree demon wouldn't use his source to support an outsider. At the same time, Qi Gui's face was pale white as he met up with the other 6 true lord ranks. In the air, the 7 true lord ranks all had solemn expressions. Before the battle started, who would have thought that a true mystic rank genius would be so strong, slaying 3 true lord ranks and not being injured at all? Even Qi Gui, who had the strongest eye bloodline, lost to Zhao Feng. My eye bloodline has been used up too much and my soul is injured. I won't be able to fight that brat head-on for a while. Qi Gui's heart trembled. Brother Emo Gon's death touched his heart and he couldn't calm down for a long time. If it wasn't for Emo Gon, he would have died. This meant that Emo Gon had used his own death to exchange for his life. Qi Gui, although you failed, you didn't do anything pointless. At least we found out Zhao Feng's strength and he's also lost quite a bit. Zhuang Wan'er's gentle and sweet voice sounded, tugging at his heart. This Zhao Feng must be killed. Yi Yenyu's beautiful face, which had always been clear and gentle, was now filled with an intense coldness. Of the 3 true lord ranks that had died, 2 came from the Pure Moon spiritual sect. This made her heart hurt and feel more guilty. If she hadn't been tricked by Zhao Feng, Yu Luo and company wouldn't have died so easily. The 7 true lord ranks watched Zhao Feng's situation through the leaves of the towering Tri Yao. Zhao Feng's face was slightly pale as he sat down to rest. This brat fought with me and killed 3 true lord ranks. The damage to his eye bloodline won't be any less than mine. Now's the time to attack the towering Tri Yao or kill him. Qi Gui suggested. The 6 true lord ranks all nodded their heads in agreement. Wait. It seems to be the power of the wood spirit essence soul. Zhuang Wan'er suddenly sensed something and looked towards Zhao Feng. Not good. He's received the support of the towering Tri Yao's origin soul. Yi Yenyu also found the situation. The 2 girls had the highest cultivations and found the abnormality of Zhao Feng. It was obvious that Zhao Feng was using the wood spirit essence soul to recover his eye bloodline. How dare you! This brat has such fortune to make the towering Tri Yao give up its origin soul. Qi Gui's pale face twisted and his voice was filled with anger. The other 6 true lord ranks were also filled with unwillingness and anger. The reason why the geniuses of the 3 sects attacked the towering Tri Yao was for the treasures of the wood spirit essence soul. And Zhao Feng was able to enjoy it so easily. It seemed like their attacks had actually given Zhao Feng an opportunity. This is preposterous. Li Hong's eyes spat fire and he almost exploded. The enemy that he wanted to kill was getting better and better. And all of this was because of them. I'll kill him no matter what price I have to pay. Cold killing intent condensed on Yi Yenyu's face. Soon after, the 7 true lord ranks led the experts at the true spirit realm and attacked the towering tree Yao. Now's our chance to kill the towering tree Yao. That bastard Zhao Feng won't be able to escape death. Even if it's just weakening the towering tree Yao, it'll still put Zhao Feng in danger. The 7 true lord ranks and the geniuses of the 3 sects worked together and their attacks were even fiercer than before. Perhaps only under such circumstances would the 3 sects truly be able to join forces and fight against a powerful enemy. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged on the ground and was unaffected by the attacks of the experts. Shwa! With a flash, Zhao Feng landed near the ground. Whoosh! 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 A few roots emerged from the soil and delivered a silver blood zombie to it. This blood-silver corpse's battle power was comparable to the early-stage True Lord rank and its defense was even stronger than normal early-stage True Lord ranks. This blood-silver corpse was one of the meat shields when fighting the ancient scorpion. Shwa! Wisps of lightning and fire appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye and locked onto the blood-silver corpse. Woo! The blood-silver corpse roared and struggled but was caught by the roots of the towering tree Yao. Humph! You want to erase my mental energy mark? How can it be so simple? Qi Gui sensed this and harumphed coldly. He had raised this blood-silver corpse for many years and the mental energy mark was extremely deep. Even experts of the same cultivation wouldn't be able to erase it without a few days. Even if it was successfully erased, it wasn't a quick matter to brand a new mental energy mark on the True Lord rank ghost corpse. However, Zhao Feng was trying. His god spiritual eye used the power of the lightning fire god's eye to forcefully erase Qi Gui's mental energy mark. What? What's going on? Qi Gui's expression changed dramatically. The connection between him and the blood-silver zombie had suddenly become much weaker. A few breaths later, Qi! Green smoke rose from the body of the silver blood zombie. The spiritual imprint had been forcefully rubbed a few times and was basically destroyed. Wah! Qi Gui's face was pale white as he spat out a mouthful of blood. After all, he had a deep connection with the blood-silver corpse. Such speed! How is this possible? Could it be that his eye bloodline is specifically designed to counter ours? Qi Gui seemed to have lost his soul. By forcefully erasing the blood-silver corpse's mental energy mark, Zhao Feng once again injured Qi Gui's mind. Qi Gui's soul injury became more serious and the threat to Zhao Feng became smaller. Immediately following, Zhao Feng once again circulated the power of the god's spiritual eye and placed a mental energy mark on the blood-silver corpse. In this process, the blood-silver corpse struggled slightly. After all, it was at the True Lord rank. However, Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye's power was extremely strong. His eyes flashed with a cold light and gave off an ancient mental energy aura that belonged to the original aura of this eye. Instantly, the silver-blooded zombie trembled inexplicably. Out of instinctive fear, it didn't dare to resist at all. At this moment in time, it was like a little ghost worshipping an ancient god. Even the towering tree demon's soul essence was trembling slightly. A few breaths later, the aura of the blood-silver corpse started to change. Shwa! The blood-silver corpse flashed and appeared next to Zhao Feng like a death guard, directly refining it. How is this possible? How can there be such a monster in this world? The geniuses of the Black Cliff Palace were all dazed as if they were watching a legend. In their eyes, Zhao Feng scanned a few times and erased Qi Gui's mental energy mark, then scanned a few more times before taking the True Lord rank ghost corpse for his own. Wrong. He's not the bane of the Tao of ghost corpses, but the one and only genius of this Tao. Qi Gui's face was bitter. The feeling of defeat at this moment was hundreds of times stronger than when he was defeated by Zhao Feng. He was certain. If the upper echelons of the Black Cliff Palace knew of a genius like Zhao Feng, they would definitely try to recruit and raise him. Done. Zhao Feng nodded his head. His figure flashed as he returned to the branch and sat down cross-legged. What was different from before was that the blood-silver corpse was next to Zhao Feng and had the protection of an early-stage True Lord rank. On the other hand, the two ghost corpses were hidden by Zhao Feng and were used for assassination. The disciples of the three sects all took in a cold breath. It was hard to imagine how strong Zhao Feng's overall strength was. Just the three ghost corpses in his hand were comparable to 3 True Lord ranks. Furthermore, the two venomous corpses had the ability to kill anyone below the Origin Core realm. Right at this moment, a voice sounded in Zhao Feng's mind: the ruins' treasured palace will arrive at the gap of the towering tree Yao within an hour. An hour? That's right. It might arrive at any moment within an hour. Chapter 430. An hour? Very good. Zhao Feng let out a breath in his heart. The earlier the ruins' treasured palace descended, the less pressure he felt. It wasn't realistic for him to fight against 10 True Lord ranks and hundreds of True Spirit Realm geniuses. As long as he could stall for time until the treasured palace arrived, Zhao Feng's mission would be considered complete. The towering tree Yao's gap. Boom! The 7 True Lord ranks and the geniuses of the True Spirit Realm unleashed a storm of attacks on the towering tree Yao. Amongst the leaves, Zhao Feng sat down and started to absorb the power of the Wood Spirit Essence Soul. A pure surge of soul energy entered Zhao Feng's mental energy world and started to nourish his soul. The Wood Spirit Essence Soul was the source of the towering tree Yao's soul. The towering tree demon had lived for a very long time. It was a Wood Spirit Essence Soul that had been created by countless suns and moons. It contained an extraordinary understanding of the mysteries of life and the myriad of things. It wasn't something an ordinary creature could compare to. In this process, the power of Zhao Feng's soul had obviously become stronger, and the bit of bloodline power that he had lost before had mostly recovered. His mind was immersed in the towering tree spirit's understanding of the true meaning of life that it had gained over the tens of thousands of years it had lived, and the endless cycle of life and death. Even Void God Realm kings probably didn't have as much experience as the towering tree Yao. Dimension of his left eye. Scenes of life being born, growing, and withering quickly flashed past. All of this was imprinted in the Wood Spirit Essence Soul. Even if it was the towering tree demon itself, it would not be able to trace back the deep memories of the distant past and present them in such a complete manner. However, in terms of soul power, the towering tree Yao couldn't be compared to Zhao Feng, who had the god's spiritual eye. In a short while, Zhao Feng's lost eye bloodline power had mostly recovered and his soul power had obviously become stronger. The reason for this was because of the god's spiritual eye and the fact that Zhao Feng had stepped into the ancient Tao of the soul. The Wood Spirit Essence Soul could only be used to its maximum effect in the hands of those who cultivated the Tao of the soul, and the god's spiritual eye increased this effect by several times. With the increase in the power of the soul, my mental energy level is much stronger than normal early-stage True Lord ranks and not much weaker than late-stage True Lord ranks. Zhao Feng was like a sponge, tirelessly absorbing and comprehending the power of the Wood Spirit Essence Soul. Human, how much longer do you need to meditate? When can you make your move? The towering tree Yao's injuries were increasing as it endured the attacks of the 7 True Lord ranks and the 100 geniuses of the 3 sections. Soon, Zhao Feng knew that the ruins' treasure palace would descend within an hour, and the towering tree demon should be able to endure it. He still wanted to absorb more of the Wood Spirit Essence's power. Boom! 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 The towering tree demon could only forcefully resist the waves of fierce attacks. Its branches and leaves shook, and it let out a powerless cry of pain. It was like an old man past his prime. Humans, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold on much longer. The strength of these geniuses surpasses those of the same level. The towering tree demon wailed for help. Zhao Feng discovered that the towering tree demon's Wood Spirit essence had weakened a bit. On one hand, it was the towering tree demon's injuries, and on the other hand, it was urging Zhao Feng. Brother Tree Demon, I'll need your wood spirit essence soul to activate an area of effect I bloodline technique. Zhao Feng exited his comprehension and his mental energy had reached an unprecedented peak. Okay. Make your move. The towering tree demon's heart shook, and an even purer surge of wood spirit essence soul entered Zhao Feng's mental energy world. In that instant, Zhao Feng felt the power of his soul become stronger, as if it was relying on a limitless source. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. This towering tree demon wasn't stupid, and it didn't support him with all its strength before. Now, hearing that Zhao Feng wanted to use its power against the geniuses of the three sects, the towering tree demon's heart trembled, and it gave him 120% of its power. It's starting. Zhao Feng took a deep breath and condensed the freezing pond in the dimension of his left eye. The freezing pond had now expanded to a radius of 80 yards, more than twice as large as it was at the sacred True Dragon gathering. Ripples appeared in the deep blue cold pool, spreading and spinning in a strange manner. This was the source of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power, and it needed the support of his soul. At this moment, a pure surge of wood spirit essence soul entered Zhao Feng's soul and became a source of support. Therefore, the more power Zhao Feng could use, the more control he had over the god's spiritual eye, the more control and endurance he had. As the power of the god's spiritual eye circulated, the towering tree demon under his feet started to tremble uneasily. The blood-silver zombie next to it started to tremble in fear. Everyone watch out! Qi Gui's expression changed as he warned the geniuses of the three sections. In the previous eye bloodline battle, Qi Gui was heavily injured and didn't have the strength to fight with Zhao Feng. Although he was cultivating, he would occasionally pay attention to Zhao Feng. The moment Zhao Feng moved, he would sense it. My first target is you. Lightning Fire God's Eye. Zhao Feng circulated his eye bloodline and a lightning fire appeared in his left eye. Whoosh! A translucent cyan thunder fire struck Qi Gui like a ball of thunder fire, drowning the latter in it. This time, the power of the lightning fire god's eye had increased by a level. Arg! Qi Gui let out a sharp scream. Black light and ghost energy surged from his body as he used all of his abilities to barely destroy the thunder fire. The geniuses of the Black Cliff Palace immediately came to save him. When they arrived, Qi Gui was already on his last breaths and didn't have much life left. This was only because he specialized in eye bloodlines and his mastery of mental energy. If it was a normal early-stage True Lord rank, they would have died. The other 6 True Lord ranks were stunned. Not only did Zhao Feng's eye bloodline not weaken, it had become stronger. Wood spirit. Before Qi Gui fainted, his face was filled with fear and unwillingness as he spat out 2 words. The power of the lightning fire god's eye made Qi Gui, who specialized in eye bloodlines, faint. Zhao Feng now only needed to deal with the other 6 True Lord ranks and didn't need to waste his power on the unconscious Qi Gui. This was the same as saying, of the original 10 True Lord ranks, only 6 had the ability to fight. However, this was only the start of the nightmare. Zhao Feng stood amongst the branches and his blue hair blew in the wind. His god's spiritual eye seemed to have an endless abyss that kept on expanding and seemed to swallow the entire world. Eye of Illusion, Illusion Maze City. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye scanned across the crowd. Among the geniuses of the 3 sects, there were more than a dozen people who were engulfed by the blue abyss in the god's spiritual eye. In the next instant, Shwa! The dozen geniuses felt as if they had been teleported. They were suddenly in a desolate and ancient maze instead of the sky above the gap of the towering tree demon. The city was shrouded in white mist. The terrain was complicated, like a huge maze. Where is this? How did we suddenly get here? Damn it! We've probably been hit by that bastard's mental energy technique. The top geniuses of the 3 sects were like ants on a hot pan as they ran around the illusion maze city. Even though they knew this was only a maze created by Zhao Feng's eye bloodline, but they couldn't break out of it. In reality, The geniuses of the three sects fell into chaos. More than a dozen of them were running around in the air. Accurately speaking, they were running around in circles. A small number of them lost control and screamed. Some had furrowed eyebrows and were trying to break through Zhao Feng's illusion maze city. Plop! Plop! A small number of the geniuses that were hit by the mental energy technique fell from the air and became fertilizer for the towering tree Yao. In the illusion maze city, these were the geniuses that found the exit and flaw. Amongst these geniuses, there was an early-stage True Lord rank from the Pure Moon spiritual sect who was running around in circles. Using the power of the God's spiritual eye to create this illusion city maze consumes a lot of energy. Luckily, I have the support of the Wood Spirit Essence Soul. Zhao Feng stood still and completed his illusion maze city. The illusory city maze was a branch of the illusory Forbidden Eye. It used illusory power to confuse the enemy and trap them. The difference was, this illusory city maze was an area of effect. It would only confuse and trap the enemy, but it would not torture the target's mind. Within the dimension of his left eye, the outline of the illusion maze city became clearer and clearer. The next time I use it, I'll be able to duplicate this illusion city maze, which will greatly reduce the amount of eye bloodline power I use. Zhao Feng's heart moved. Simply put, the illusion maze city had been copied by Zhao Feng, and the next time he used it, he didn't need to imagine it anymore. With the support of the Wood Spirit Essence Soul, Zhao Feng's soul was strengthened and he was able to create the illusion maze city that covered a group of enemies. 12. 13. 14. After consolidating the illusion maze city, Zhao Feng started to invade and swallow the enemies. Between the leaves, Zhao Feng's left eye seemed to contain a fatal charm that made one's soul uncontrollably come in contact with it. Apart from Yi Yanyu and Zhuang Wan, anyone that came into contact with his gaze had their mind, eyes, ears, and even spiritual sense affected by the illusion maze city. They were clearly in midair, but their senses had tricked their souls and made them think that they were in the illusion maze city. There were around 20 geniuses that were covered by the illusion maze city. Zhuang Wan and Yi Yanyu's expressions changed. Everyone be careful, don't look at his left eye. Yi Yanyu warned those that weren't affected by the eye of illusion. Zhao Feng's illusion maze city was created by the God's spiritual eye and his left eye was the source of the whirlpool. If one didn't come into contact with the God's spiritual eye, then the power of the illusion would be lower. Those that have fallen into the mental energy illusion, don't panic. Stay where you are and maintain your flight. We'll save you. The True Lord ranks present sent a mental energy message into the mental energy dimension. The geniuses within the illusion maze city could faintly hear Yi Yanyu and Zhuang Wan's voices, but most of them were still running around in circles. All Zhao Feng needed to do was to maintain the illusion city maze palace and look for any flaws to strengthen it. As time passed, the illusion maze city successfully covered 20 to 30 geniuses, including one early-stage True Lord rank and one early-stage True Lord rank. The other 4 True Lord ranks and the other geniuses all stopped their attacks in fear. Chapter 431. Human, you do have some skill. You've stopped the attacks of these enemies with just one move. The towering tree Yao's joyful voice sounded. Before, it had suffered the attacks of 7 True Lord ranks and hundreds of True Spirit Realm geniuses, and it was a painful torture. After Zhao Feng took action, the situation had indeed changed. At this point in time, 20 to 30 geniuses including 2 True Lord ranks had fallen into Zhao Feng's illusion city maze. The illusion city maze was an area attack that Zhao Feng had created based on the Eye of Illusion. In terms of depth, the illusion city maze wasn't as profound as the Eye of Illusion. The difficulty of the illusion city maze lay in the fact that it was an area of effect mental eye bloodline technique. Creating an enormous illusion city maze while trapping a large number of enemies would consume a terrifying amount of eye bloodline power. In the past, due to his cultivation, Zhao Feng had some ideas about this area mental energy technique, but he didn't manage to put it together. Another reason was that this was the first time Zhao Feng had met such a human wave tactic. The opponents he had met before were all one or a few. The original 4-eye bloodlines were more than enough. The illusory maze was an eye bloodline technique that he had developed under the circumstances. The Illusion City maze specializes in human wave tactics. Even if an army of 10,000 comes, I'll still make it hard for you to advance. Zhao Feng stood on the branch and his left eye seemed to contain an endless abyss of ice. His blue hair blew in the wind and he seemed to have a noble bloodline. Subtly, Zhao Feng's Illusion City maze was in the area where the towering tree Yao had broken through, and the closer it was to that area, the more affected it was. Furthermore, Zhao Feng was slowly consolidating the Illusion City maze and expanding its range. Brother Tree Yao, the more support you give me, the stronger my eye bloodline will be. Zhao Feng's lips curled up. As soon as he said this, Zhao Feng felt the energy entering his mental energy world become purer and stronger. This was the source of the towering tree Yao's energy. Buzz! Zhao Feng's soul instantly received a great baptism, as if it was being irrigated by an endless spring rain. This feeling was like soaking his soul in a hot spring. Even some mental injuries and hidden injuries could be effectively eliminated. Great! Zhao Feng was overjoyed. With the towering tree demon's active cooperation, his comprehension of the wood spirit essence soul had doubled. Under this situation, his soul became stronger and his mental energy level was approaching the late-stage True Lord rank. The illusory maze became more stable and expanded further. The number of geniuses that were trapped in the illusory city maze was still increasing, and the number of geniuses that were able to struggle out was becoming fewer and fewer. Thump! Thump! In a one-on-one situation, apart from Yi Yanyu and Zhuang Wan, no one else would be able to block one or two glances from Zhao Feng. Retreat! Yi Yanyu gritted her teeth and suppressed the anger and unwillingness in her heart. Maybe if the three sects used all their strength, they could kill Zhao Feng and even the towering tree demon. However, how big of a price would they have to pay and how many would survive? The price and rewards weren't proportional. Because of this, Zhuang Wan gave up for the big picture. After all, the enmity between the Moon Demon Palace and Zhao Feng wasn't big. Sister Yi, are we just going to? Li Hong's heart was filled with unwillingness. I want to kill him 10 times more than you do, but how many more people from the Pure Moon spiritual sect have to die to take revenge for you, Luo and company? Yi Yanyu shook her head bitterly. When Zhuang Wan gave up, she knew that there was no chance of killing Zhao Feng. Only by teaming up with Zhuang Wan would they have a 50 to 60% chance of killing Zhao Feng. Unless brother Lu Tianyi came and had the ability to kill Zhao Feng alone. Ha ha ha. These humans have all retreated. The towering tree demon let out a long roar. The joy in its heart was indescribable. The geniuses of the three sects had all retreated, leaving behind 10 to 20 corpses. At this point in time, of the 10 True Lord ranks, only 6 remained. Before leaving, Zhao Feng had used the Eye of Illusion and left behind a True Lord rank in the maze. The expressions of the geniuses of the three sects were dim like eggplants. Almost half of the 10 True Lord ranks were lost. The hearts of the geniuses went cold just thinking about it. Zhao Feng sent off the geniuses of the three sects with his eyes and said, Brother Tree Demon, don't relax. Hit them when they're down. Okay. The towering tree demon believed in Zhao Feng's strength. It also understood that the three sects might come back even if they retreated. It was best if they could deal a heavy blow to the enemy. These people have already retreated 5 to 6 miles away from my roots. How are you going to deal with them? The towering tree demon asked curiously. There's one move I can try. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. With the wood spirit essence soul as his shield, Zhao Feng decided to try that move. Thinking up to here, Zhao Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath and merge his mental energy, and focus into one, becoming one with nature. His every action seemed to be in accordance with the laws of heaven and earth. This was something he had learned from Xian Wuheng, and now that his cultivation was higher, he felt that this intent had probably surpassed the limits of the true lord rank. At the same time, Zhao Feng's left eye's aura started to condense. Suddenly, an ancient and unfathomably terrifying aura began to radiate from Zhao Feng's body. In that instant, the towering tree demon trembled uneasily. This aura comes from the ancient races. Could it be from the 10,000 ancient races? Impossible. The towering tree demon felt the power of the wood spirit essence soul enter Zhao Feng uncontrollably. So that's how it is. The mysterious youth exuding a primordial aura on the tree branch suddenly smiled. Immediately following that, the towering tree demon felt as if the body had lost its consciousness and became motionless like a statue. Shwa! Zhao Feng's consciousness leapt out of the body and into the clouds. At the same time, the geniuses of the three sects retreated 5 to 6 miles away from the towering tree demon's attack range. The geniuses couldn't help but look back in the direction of the towering tree demon. Don't worry everyone. That brat wouldn't dare to chase even if he had 100 guts. That bastard's biggest reliance is the towering tree demon's protection. If he dares to chase, he'll be courting death. Some resentful voices came from the crowd. However, right at this moment, the geniuses present felt an uneasy pressure. In the darkness, there seemed to be an eye that was coldly overlooking their every move. The uneasiness and pressure grew stronger and stronger, like a prickling thorn in his back. Some of the geniuses with lower cultivations felt their bodies go cold, as if they had been stripped naked and thrown under the sun. Oh my God! That's... Several geniuses instinctively raised their heads and were stunned as if they had been petrified. More and more geniuses looked up into the sky and were stunned. Unknowingly when a translucent and jade blue eye of heaven appeared amidst the clouds in the sky. It seemed as if it was embedded in the heavens and the earth, and it was suffused with a deep blue luster as it looked down coldly. That eye is... The hearts of Yi Yanyu and Zhuangwan shook. The geniuses below the true lord rank all felt suffocated. This pressure made their hearts tremble. It's that eye again. What kind of power does it have? Qi Gui took a deep breath. Although this was the second time he had faced the eye of heaven, the first time the eye didn't display much power. However, the aura from the eye shook Qi Gui's heart and he could only look up to it. His intuition told him that this eye definitely possessed unimaginable abilities. This was what Zhao Feng was trying to do. Chapter 432. The disciples of the three sects all raised their heads towards the sky and felt an indescribable mental energy pressure that made it hard to breathe. Amongst the clouds, the eye of heaven seemed to be on the same level as heaven and earth. It flashed with a dark blue light as it coldly looked down. This eye looks so familiar, could it be? Yi Yanyu and company looked towards the depths of the forest in disbelief. Many geniuses from the three sects realized that this eye was similar to Zhao Feng's left eye. Qi Gui of the Black Cliff Palace took a deep breath and was the first to recognize the origin of this eye. At this moment in time, the eye of heaven descended and looked down from above, bringing great pressure to the geniuses of the three sections. All of them felt uneasy and uneasy. Qi Gui, you seem to know something. What kind of ability does the existence of this eye have? Even someone as strong as Yi Yanyu felt uneasy. The level of intent displayed by the eye of heaven and the way it looked down from above was unfathomable and unfathomable. My knowledge is limited and I can only confirm that this eye can chase across space and use mental energy pressure. Before, Zhao Feng used this technique to extinguish my ghost eye dark light from 1 to 200 miles away. Wariness was written on Qi Gui's face. It was that time when Zhao Feng looked down from above and clashed with his eye bloodline for the first time. 1 to 200 miles away. Yi Yanyu and Zhuangwan's expressions changed. Even sovereigns at the Origin Core realm wouldn't have the ability to cross such a long distance and attack. Then, what was the upper limit of Zhao Feng's eye? Zhao Feng was very clear on this answer. How far his God's spiritual eye could see was how far his eye could go. As his cultivation increased, Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye's range could be described as 1,000 miles. Now, Zhao Feng didn't have any sense suppression in the Purple Saint ruins, and it wasn't hard for him to see 2,000 miles with one eye. Of course, the further he looked the more energy he used. Under normal situations, Zhao Feng wouldn't be so bored. This is the feeling. Zhao Feng's consciousness leaped into the clouds and looked down from above. That kind of height, that kind of posture, it was as if he was looking down on everything, ruling over everything in the world, and it made people excited. Of course. During this process, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power was rapidly depleted. Although it still consumes a lot of energy, it's clearly much less than the previous 2 times. Zhao Feng was a little surprised. Right now, he was using the space transference eye mainly because he wanted to use the wood spirit essence soul as a shield to explore a little. After analysis, Zhao Feng came to a conclusion. Firstly, the space transference eye would consume different amounts of energy depending on the distance. The greater the distance, the greater the consumption of eye bloodline power. On the contrary, right now, Zhao Feng was only able to travel 5 to 6 miles, which was less than 1/10 of what he did last time. There's another factor. If I were to apply pressure and attack while looking down from above, the consumption would be several times higher. Zhao Feng recalled the last time he crossed space to extinguish the ghost eye lamp. At this point in time, Zhao Feng's mental energy level was much higher than the last 2 times, and he had the wood spirit essence soul as a shield, so he didn't have to worry too much. In the next 1 or 2 breaths, Zhao Feng carefully sensed this state. In the space transference eye state, he had a slight connection with his body, but he couldn't control his body. Zhao Feng also found that in this state, his soul and heaven and earth's compatibility had reached an unbelievable level, even exceeding his own cultivation. This was also why it was easier to enter the space transference eye state when one's mental energy was one with heaven and earth. Apart from that, Zhao Feng's control of the God's spiritual eye was several times stronger than normal. This kind of control and compatibility with heaven and earth created an indescribable mental energy pressure. Even sovereigns would be moved. I wonder if I can use eye bloodline techniques in this state. Zhao Feng's heart moved. Unknowingly, several breaths of time passed. The geniuses of the 3 sects felt uneasy and were full of wariness and fear towards the eye of heaven. The invisible pressure couldn't be dissipated. Zhao Feng, bastard. If you have the skills, then come out and fight. What kind of hero is hiding in the back and peeping? Li Hong's face darkened. That oppressive and uneasy feeling made him feel both fearful and annoyed. That's right. If you have the skills, then come out and fight. The geniuses of the 3 sects all agreed. A mocking and cold smile appeared on the eye of heaven's face. Ice soul shooting line. A mysterious and cold voice sounded in the mental energy dimension. When in that huge eye, there seemed to be an ice abyss extending endlessly. It lit up with a transparent blue light and suddenly shot out a cold ray of light that was as thick as a fist. Chiao, the cold ray of light was half transparent and shot out at a speed that was hard to catch with spiritual sense. Watch out! Yi Yanyu instinctively exclaimed. In that instant, a cold yuan qi appeared in heaven and earth. The source of this disturbance came from the eye of heaven. The attack that was like a bolt of lightning pierced through heaven and earth and clashed with the ice and water yuan qi. At the same time, it gave off a noble aura. Boom! Li Hong didn't even have time to react before the cold ray of light pierced through his body and soul. He didn't expect the eye of heaven to be able to attack so directly and so quickly. He had lost most of his battle power and Zhao Feng wouldn't waste his energy on him. At this point in time, of the 6 true lord ranks, only 4 still had battle power. Qi Gui and Li Hong didn't have any. Retreat! Retreat from this canyon! Yi Yanyu and Zhuang Wan glanced deeply at the eye of heaven before leading the geniuses of the 3 sects to retreat. Shua! The eye of heaven disappeared from the clouds. Hu Zhaofeng's consciousness returned to his body and he let out a long breath. The attack just then had lasted for several breaths and used 30 to 40% of his eye bloodline power. This was with the wood spirit essence soul's support and the distance wasn't far. Under normal situations, Zhao Feng wouldn't use it so easily. Human, I've used up almost a third of my wood spirit source. The towering tree Yao was half happy and half worried. It was happy that it had successfully forced back the geniuses of the three sects and weakened over half of the true lord rank. It was worried that it had lost a lot. Almost a third of its wood spirit source was immeasurable. A part of it was absorbed by Zhao Feng while the rest was used. Right at this moment. Brother Zhao Feng. The ruins treasured palace is about to descend, but there's bad news. The first of the 10 true lord ranks, Lu Tianyi, is quickly approaching. Zhao Yufei's voice sounded in his mind. Lu Tianyi. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. This person was the strongest genius of the three sects and apparently had reached the half-step origin core realm. Shua! Zhao Feng opened his god spiritual eye and saw a slightly fat youth approaching the mysterious canyon. The wind outside the mysterious canyon was enough to stop the footsteps of those at the true lord rank. The youth lazily waved his hand. Hu boom! A golden palm shadow, with the power to kill gods and destroy ghosts, forcefully tore apart the strange wind at the periphery of the canyon and opened up a path. The wind outside the canyon is strong enough to rip apart a true lord rank, but this person broke through it with one palm. Zhao Feng's heart shook. The youth's casual attack had created a whirlpool of heaven-earth yuan qi that surpassed the true lord rank and reached the level that Zhao Feng could only achieve with the eye of heaven. Brother Lu! The disciples of the Pure Moon spiritual sect exclaimed. Lu Tianyi! The geniuses of the Black Cliff Palace and Moon Demon Palace were both wary and fearful. Chapter 433. Shua! Lu Tianyi's figure flickered a few times as he entered the canyon. His overwhelming aura resonated with the heaven-earth essence qi. Even the towering tree demon in the distance sensed it and knew that it was bad. Humans, looks like we can't escape this. The towering tree Yao's bitter voice sounded. Zhao Feng knew that Lu Tianyi's arrival gave the towering tree Yao a sense of danger. If the towering tree Yao was at its peak, it could still fight against Lu Tianyi. However, it had suffered a terrifying blow from the Void God's protection earlier, and a gap had been opened up, revealing its trunk. Furthermore, the towering tree Yao had used the wood spirit essence soul to take on the attacks of the three sections. This Lu Tianyi is indeed strong and has the ability to challenge sovereigns. He's already surpassed my limit. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. Before this, Zhao Feng had forced back the geniuses of the three sects and lost more than half of the 10 true lord ranks. However, there was a prerequisite for this, and that was the powerful protection of the towering tree demon. The surroundings were originally a forbidden area. In a true one-on-one fight, Zhao Feng didn't have much confidence in facing Yi Yanyu and Zhuang Wan. After all, their battle power was comparable to the deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion and could challenge normal half-step origin core realms. However, Lu Tianyi's strength had reached an even higher level. Zhao Feng found through his god spiritual eye that Lu Tianyi's ability to communicate with heaven and earth was several times stronger than normal true lord ranks. It was as if he was in a whirlpool of heaven-earth yuan qi and could summon the power of heaven and earth with just a wave of his hand. It was because of this. There was a weird wind outside the mysterious canyon and Lu Tianyi could casually wave his hand and open a path. This was something neither Yi Yanyu nor Zhuang Wan could do. Brother Tree Yao, we don't have to fight an unbeatable enemy. The ruins treasured palace is about to descend. You just need to support us and leave the rest to me. Zhao Feng's voice was still calm. At this moment, he also felt a sense of danger. If it weren't for the arrival of the relic treasured palace, Zhao Feng would have run far away long ago. Staying here would only lead to death. Facing Lu Tianyi, the other true lord ranks and geniuses was no different than facing a sovereign. Asking Zhao Feng to challenge a venerable was no different from courting death. Humans. You've already brought me too many surprises. I hope it will be the same this time. The towering tree demon calmed down a bit and used the wood spirit essence soul to support Zhao Feng. At this moment, it no longer cared about consuming its source power. Even if it consumed all of its source power or was beaten back to its original form, it was still better than being erased from the world. At the same time, Lu Tianyi entered the mysterious canyon and met up with the Pure Moon spiritual sect geniuses. Seeing the miserable state the geniuses of the three sects were in, Lu Tianyi was shocked. What happened? Of the 10 true lord ranks, the second and third ranked Yi Yanyu were both here. The losses of the Pure Moon spiritual sect also made Lu Tianyi furious. Of the 3 factions, the Pure Moon spiritual sect had lost the most. Yu Luo had died and Li Hong was almost dead. Apart from that, the other true lord ranks and true mystic rank geniuses had also died. Brother Lu, you've come at the right time. Our chances of killing that bastard will increase to 99%. Yi Yanyu was overjoyed. Lu Tianyi was even more surprised. The usually calm Sister Ye's face was now filled with killing intent. Soon, Yi Yanyu told the truth to Lu Tianyi. So there's such a thing. Hearing this, Lu Tianyi was enraged. When had the core disciples of the Pure Moon spiritual sect been humiliated to such a degree? Don't worry, let me go and kill that bastard. The languid expression on Lu Tianyi's face disappeared. His eyes were like the golden moons in the starry sky, and they even had traces of blood in them. It was like he was possessed by a killing god. Right at this moment, Lu Tianyi suddenly sensed something and looked up into the sky. Shwa! At some point in time, a huge transparent blue eye had appeared in the sky. It seemed to be parallel to the heavens and earth, and it was coldly looking down at him. This is that bastard's eye bloodline. I've never seen it before. Lu Tianyi jumped up in fright. At first glance, he thought it was a descendant of the god Eye. If it was a true inheritor of one of the 8 great god eyes, even Lu Tianyi's heart would go cold. At this moment, the eyes in the clouds coldly looked down, emitting an indescribable pressure and spiritual pressure. Apart from Lu Tianyi, all the other true lord ranks felt pressured. After all, Zhao Feng had the support of the wood spirit essence soul. Furthermore, his mental energy level had already reached the late stages of the true lord rank. His intent isn't much different from mine, but I feel like I can't see through him. Lu Tianyi stood where he was. The divine light in his eyes was like a long and narrow golden moon, exuding an aura of supremacy that looked down on the world. He didn't move at all, but he seemed to become the center of a whirlpool of heaven-earth yuan qi. Die for me! A golden moon wavy blade that was like a cicada's wing flashed out from Lu Tianyi's palm and tore through the air. In a split second, it caused a piercingly cold wave of golden splendor to slash through the clouds and illuminate half the sky. At this point in time, the geniuses of the 3 sects all held their breaths and revealed shocked expressions. Lu Tianyi's attack seemed to have the power to destroy heaven and earth. It could easily destroy a small village. Even the Eye of Heaven's aura was suppressed. Shwa! The golden moon wavy blade carried with it a terrifying destructive power that enveloped the space where the Eye of Heaven was. Between the clouds in the sky, everything within 3 to 4 miles was drowned. Even the distant towering tree demon could feel the tremors. At the very least, the howling of the heaven and earth origin chi caused its branches and leaves to sway non-stop. After everything passed, the clouds in the sky were broken and the Eye of Heaven was perfectly fine. It had a mocking expression as it looked down at Lu Tianyi. Lu Tianyi, this eye is like a void. I'm afraid that any attack below the empty god realm will not be able to destroy it. The simplest method is to kill that bastard. Qi Gui's weak voice sounded. Although Lu Tianyi's attack was strong, it was used in the wrong place. That move just now was no different from hitting the air. Unless one was an expert of the soul or had an eye bloodline that was comparable to Zhao Feng, it would be extremely hard to destroy the Eye of Heaven. Interesting. Lu Tianyi wasn't too surprised. The Eye of Heaven gave him a feeling that it couldn't be seen through. As expected, normal methods wouldn't be able to destroy it. However, Lu Tianyi wouldn't give up so easily. He then used a few more secret techniques to attack the Eye of Heaven. The nearby geniuses all felt their hearts shake. However, Lu Tianyi's attempts all ended in failure. The Eye of Heaven could be seen with the naked eye and could even put pressure on them, but it was like nothing and couldn't be broken through. Preposterous. Lu Tianyi couldn't stand being stared at by a pair of eyes from above. Senior brother Lu, you should hurry up and kill that thief. Zhao Feng hasn't retreated even after seeing you. I'm worried that something might have happened. Yi Yanyu felt uneasy. This was an instinct that came from her memories of interacting with Zhao Feng. Okay. I'll go kill that bastard. Lu Tianyi nodded his head. He only listened to Yi Yanyu's words. This was because the two were both disciples of Void God Realm Kings and had similar statuses. Furthermore, in terms of talent, Yi Yanyu was younger and her future wouldn't be any lower than his. Shua! Lu Tianyi's figure flashed and he charged in the direction of the towering tree Yao. The geniuses of the three sects felt their vision blur and Lu Tianyi had already crossed half a mile. Zhao Feng, who was looking down from the sky, jumped up in fright. Lu Tianyi's speed was too fast. He only needed 10 steps or so to arrive. Eye of Ice Soul. The Eye of Heaven in the sky flashed with a cold blue light that landed on Lu Tianyi. Lu Tianyi was slightly surprised. He found that his movements had become slow. An icy cold power actually seeped into his soul and spread further. Furthermore, under the Eye of Heaven state, Zhao Feng's Eye of Ice Soul was strengthened and resonated with the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi. In that instant, the area around Lu Tianyi was frozen by cold energy. This time, Zhao Feng didn't use the Ice Soul shooting line but the original Eye of Ice Soul. The Eye of Ice Soul expended a lot of energy but could slow down Lu Tianyi's speed. Zhao Feng knew that even if he used the Ice Soul shooting line or the Lightning Fire God's Eye, he wouldn't be able to do much damage to Lu Tianyi. This was because Lu Tianyi's mental energy level was at the half-step Origin Core realm, which was higher than the peak True Lord rank and was close to the half-step Origin Core realm. Hee, no one can stop my footsteps. Lu Tianyi proudly smiled, his step steady. The surrounding Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi whistled with him as the center. With Zhao Feng's Eye of Ice Soul in its current state, normal True Lord ranks would freeze and be unable to move. If this dragged on, they would end up like Li Hong. However, Lu Tianyi wasn't injured at all. The only effect was that his speed had decreased. His cultivation is much higher than mine and he also has a Soul Dao treasure. Zhao Feng saw very clearly through the Eye of Heaven. It wasn't rare for geniuses like Lu Tianyi, Yi Yanyu and Zhuangwan to have 1 or 2 Soul Dao treasures. Under normal situations, Zhao Feng wasn't willing to use his Eye bloodline against someone with a high mental energy level and a Soul Dao treasure. Only this way can I delay Lu Tianyi. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. At the same time, the towering tree Yao also sensed Zhao Feng's intentions and circulated the wood spirit essence soul into Zhao Feng's mental energy world. Under the Eye of Heaven state, Zhao Feng quickly absorbed the power of the wood spirit essence soul. Some of it was used, some was absorbed and stored in the God's spiritual eye. Lu Tianyi found that his thoughts seemed to have fallen into an ice cellar and became abnormally slow. The power from the Eye of Ice Soul became stronger and stronger. The pressure from the Eye of Heaven became stronger and stronger. At this moment, Zhao Feng received the towering tree Yao's help and absorbed the power of the wood spirit essence soul. In just a few breaths, Zhao Feng's soul had become stronger than normal peak True Lord ranks. In terms of soul strength, Zhao Feng and Lu Tianyi weren't far apart. Of course, in terms of mental energy level, Zhao Feng was still at the late stages of the True Lord rank. All of this was due to the towering tree Yao's greatest treasure, the wood spirit essence soul. even primal core realm venerables would benefit greatly from the wood spirit essence soul, helping them comprehend the void god realm. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had used more than a third of the wood spirit essence soul from beginning to end. Chapter 434. Purple Saint Ruins. In the depths of the mysterious canyon, Zhao Feng was like a shell without a soul. His face was blank and expressionless, and his dreamy blue hair danced in the wind under a terrifying pressure. Next to him, a 20-yard-tall silver blood ghost had a gruesome expression and fangs. Its aura was comparable to the early-stage True Lord rank, and it was like a loyal death guard. However, at this point in time, this True Lord rank silver blood ghost corpse trembled in fear and uneasiness. Even the towering tree demon that was protecting them let out a sorrowful sigh under the powerful aura that seemed to be able to shatter mountains and split the earth. It felt a sense of despair. Several miles away, Lu Tiany's slightly chubby and lazy figure closed in step by step. Every movement of his caused the chi of heaven and earth within a radius of several hundred li to whistle with him as the center. The powerful pressure of the wind formed all sorts of natural phenomena, the roar of the wind, the roar of lightning, the crisscrossing of light and darkness. Every step he took him half a mile away. Lu Tianyi suddenly became the center of a whirlpool of heaven-earth yuan qi. This level of cultivation far surpassed normal True Lord ranks. The hearts of the disciples of the three sects including the True Lord ranks shook. With Brother Lu here, even if the towering tree Yao is at its peak, it won't be able to block our attacks. The geniuses of the Pure Moon spiritual sect nodded their heads with pride and expectation. Yi Yenyu stood in the crowd and murmured, with Brother Lu here, even the towering tree Yao won't be able to protect Zhao Feng. There should be no more suspense. In terms of strength, Brother Lu should be on par with the towering tree Yao. But now, the towering tree Yao was heavily injured and its strength was less than half of its peak. Thinking up to here, Yi Yenyu couldn't help but look into the sky. In the clouds, a large transparent eye seemed to be on par with heaven and earth as it looked down coldly. The existence of the eye of heaven made the disciples of the three sects feel pressured and uneasy. It was like a shadow that couldn't be erased. Even the True Lord ranks felt suffocated when facing the eye of heaven and couldn't resist it in terms of mental energy. For some reason, as long as it existed, Yi Yenyu's heart couldn't truly calm down. All of a sudden, Lu Tiany's footsteps slowed down. The mental energy pressure from the eye of heaven and the cold aura of ice soul jumped to a whole new level. The disciples of the three sects shivered. Once their gazes met the eye of heaven, the coldness would seep into their souls. Everyone, be careful. Don't look at that eye. Qi Gui's heart trembled as he exclaimed softly. At this moment, the eye of heaven had risen to a higher level, and its eye bloodline techniques were something that he could only look up to. The person who was truly affected by the eye of heaven was Lu Tianyi. The geniuses of the other three sects were only affected by the shockwave, and they were a few miles away. However, even normal True Lord ranks didn't dare to look directly at the eye of heaven. Separated by the dense forest and ancient trees, the three sects' disciples' senses were limited in the ruins. They couldn't even see Zhao Feng. The only thing that everyone could touch was the eye of heaven. This Zhao Feng hid behind the scenes and didn't come out, but he can use such methods to fight with us. Qi Gui took a deep breath. Luckily, Zhao Feng's target wasn't them, but Lu Tianyi. At this moment, Zhao Feng's soul power was stronger than normal peak True Lord ranks. At this critical moment, the towering tree Yao used the wood spirit essence soul to support him. Under the eye of heaven state, Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye quickly absorbed the power of the wood spirit essence soul, and it was extremely effective in raising his soul level. Brat! Don't let me get close to you. Lu Tianyi's voice was sharp and his eyes were like the golden moon in the night, flashing with killing intent that could pierce through one's heart. However, his thoughts and even his body seemed to fall into a freezing pond and became unusually slow. His every movement, even his every thought, required several times more time than usual. What made Lu Tianyi the most aggrieved was that he didn't even get to see his opponent's face despite his almost invincible battle prowess. Fighting across space was the Eye of Heaven's specialty. Wherever the god's spiritual eye could see, his consciousness would be able to cross space and use the corresponding eye bloodline techniques. The legendary method of taking the head of an enemy from 1,000 miles away had become reality for Zhao Feng. Furthermore, the god's spiritual eye's eye bloodline techniques were endless and hard to defend against. Behind him, the disciples of the three sects were shocked as they watched Lu Tianyi slowly approach the towering tree demon. This was a battle of strength. Every inch Lu Tianyi got closer meant that he was one step closer to victory. If Lu Tianyi gets close, I won't have much ability to fight back. Zhao Feng's consciousness looked down from the clouds and grasped the situation. Due to various factors, his mental energy had barely reached a level where he could fight against Lu Tianyi. However, in terms of true battle power, Lu Tianyi had the ability to challenge those at the origin core realm. At least the deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion and the Grand Elder of the Imperials weren't his match. Once Lu Tianyi got close, Zhao Feng would be in danger. Luckily, Zhao Feng's goal wasn't to fight against Lu Tianyi and the other three sections. It was already a miracle that he had fought against hundreds of geniuses of the three sects by himself and had even forced back the geniuses of the three sects and defeated the 10 true lord ranks. Go! Zhao Feng's consciousness commanded the blood-silver corpse next to him. Even though he tried so hard, he could only use his Eye of Ice Soul to slow Lu Tianyi's approach. When Lu Tianyi was 1 to 200 yards away from the towering tree Yao, the true lord rank blood silver corpse leapt out. Damn it! This brat! Qi Gui's expression was slightly ugly. This blood silver corpse was a powerful corpse guard that he had trained for many years not long ago. Seeing the true lord rank blood silver corpse charge over, Lu Tianyi's eyes faintly glanced over and didn't even put it in his eyes. Although he was restricted by the Eye of Ice Soul, normal true lord ranks could be killed with a flick of his finger. Eye of Illusion. The Eye of Heaven in the clouds suddenly released a powerful and obscure mental energy wave that penetrated into the void. LV Tianyi felt as if the Eye of Heaven extended into a boundless abyss, as if it could reach the other side of the world. Shwa! Lu Tianyi's mind shook, and he found himself in a boundless domain of ice and snow. The chill was dense, and he felt unprecedentedly helpless. The place where he stood suddenly formed a prison of ice and lightning, trapping him firmly. Lightning chains bound Lu Tianyi tightly, causing his body to convulse and tremble uncontrollably. You're that Zhao Feng. Lu Tianyi's eyes flashed coldly as he stared at the blue-haired youth in front of him. This was the first time he had seen the opponent's figure and it was only a blurry mental energy image. Lu Tianyi didn't know if Zhao Feng did it on purpose or not, but he couldn't see the opponent's appearance. This meant that Lu Tianyi still hadn't seen the real Zhao Feng, and the opponent didn't even need to meet him face to face. Thinking up to here, Lu Tianyi felt how terrifying this person was. No wonder he could force back the disciples of the three sects and the 10 true lord ranks. Break! Lu Tianyi's cold, golden moon-like eyes shone with an unparalleled will and sharpness. His powerful will directly broke through the bindings of the Eye of Illusion. What a strong mental energy intent! He's broken through my Eye of Illusion. Zhao Feng was extremely moved as he looked down from the clouds. Zhao Feng had only felt such mental energy intent from Yu Tianhao. Although Lu Tianyi's mental energy intent wasn't as unique as Yu Tianhao's and was even connected to his bloodline, Lu Tianyi's mental energy level and cultivation was much higher. At the same time, the blood-silver corpse leapt towards Lu Tianyi and attacked. Ice Soul Shooting Line. The Eye of Heaven in the clouds shot out a beam of cold light that struck Lu Tianyi. When Lu Tianyi's figure faintly shook as a powerful ice soul power pierced through his body and froze his soul. Under the Eye of Heaven state, Zhao Feng's cultivation was extremely high and all his eye bloodline techniques were strengthened to the extreme. Because of the towering tree Yao's support, Zhao Feng was able to last until now and keep attacking. Attack! Zhao Feng's heart jumped. This was a good chance to order the blood-silver corpse to attack Lu Tianyi. At this moment in time, Lu Tianyi was struck by the ice soul ray, and his body and mind froze. He was incomparably stiff and cold, and had yet to recover from his daze. Shu, the blood-silver corpse, opened its mouth and used its sharp claws to bite Lu Tianyi. Boom! Lu Tianyi's faint golden light of true spirit suddenly flashed and sent the blood-silver corpse flying. Crack! One of the blood-silver corpse's arms was instantly broken and its body was almost split in half. How is this possible? It can't even break through the light of true spirit. Zhao Feng's heart clenched. Lu Tianyi's consciousness was first restricted by the Eye of Illusion and then attacked by the Ice Soul shooting line. This gap was taken by the blood-silver corpse. All of this was made possible by Zhao Feng. However, he didn't think that the blood-silver corpse couldn't even break through Lu Tianyi's light of true spirit and had almost been shattered. From this one could see that Lu Tianyi's battle power had touched the origin core realm. No wonder he was able to escape from a sovereign realm beast. Destroy! Lu Tianyi waved his palm, and the blood-silver zombie that had been sent flying was blasted into ashes by the cold golden moonlight that had appeared out of nowhere. Boom! The blood-silver corpse at the True Lord rank was turned to dust and a powerful wave of air swept across a mile or two and even hit Zhao Feng's body on the towering tree Yao. This bastard! He's using my ghost corpse as cannon fodder. Qi Gui gritted his teeth in anger. Shua! Zhao Feng's consciousness returned to his body and his face was weak as he swayed in the wind. If it wasn't for the towering tree Yao blocking most of the power, Zhao Feng would have had a hard time dealing with it. Zhao Feng's face was expressionless after losing a True Lord rank blood-silver corpse. Tsang! Tsang! Two dark silver ghost corpses appeared next to Zhao Feng. Not only that. With a thought, a young giant scorpion appeared in his palm. It was only the size of a baby's palm, and its body was mottled with spots. However, it had a pair of dark red and ice-cold eyes. Chapter 435. This impure scorpion was the one that Zhao Feng had found in the cave. This scorpion's bloodline had not only inherited the ancient giant scorpion, it was also a mutated species with immeasurable potential. Although this mutated scorpion's strength can't threaten those at the true spirit realm, it has inherited the ancient giant scorpion's poison and even mutated. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. In theory, the scorpion's poison could kill those at the true spirit realm, but the prerequisite was that it could pierce through their skin. The scorpion also had another advantage, and that was its small size, making it easy to ignore. Thinking up to here, Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. If it was under normal circumstances, he would definitely raise this scorpion with a mutated bloodline. In the future, it would become his right hand and its status would only be below the little thieving cat. Even if Zhao Feng didn't have the ability to raise it himself, he could sell it for a high price at the Rising Dragon auction. However, at this critical moment, Zhao Feng had to make a choice. In order to stall Lu Tianyi and gain more time, he had already lost a True Lord rank Silver Blood Ghost. The loss of the Silver Blood Ghost gave Zhao Feng a better understanding of Lu Tianyi's battle power. And now, if Zhao Feng wanted to achieve his goal, he would have to sacrifice the two dark silver ghost corpses and the youngling scorpion. Zhao Feng didn't hesitate much towards this. This was because the benefits he had gained from the towering tree Yao far exceeded his losses. The wood spirit essence soul had strengthened Zhao Feng's soul to the limit, surpassing the peak True Lord rank. This greatly increased the power of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline. Under the origin core realm, most True Lord ranks wouldn't be able to block Zhao Feng's eye bloodline. Furthermore, this was just the short-term benefit of the wood spirit essence soul. There were still more comprehensions of life within the wood spirit essence soul that were stored by the god's spiritual eye. With this, if Zhao Feng wanted to break through to the origin core realm in the future, his chances of success would be more than 10 times higher than normal True Lord ranks. Compared to that, losing 1 or 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses or a youngling scorpion was nothing. Zhao Feng's eyes were calm, and he made a decisive decision. Meow, meow. The little thieving cat suddenly appeared on his shoulder and jumped up. Its body was only a bit bigger than the youngling scorpion. "You want to make a move?" Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat communicated telepathically. At this time, Lu Tianyi had returned to normal and was approaching the towering tree demon. He waved a single palm and a dazzling golden palm silhouette broke some branches and leaves with a cracking sound. Puff! Puff! The towering tree demon waved its branches and launched a frenzied counterattack, stopping Lu Tianyi from advancing. Lu Tianyi's target was not the tree demon, but Zhao Feng, who was in the depths of the leaves. Of the 10 true lord ranks, probably only Lu Tianyi had the confidence to charge into the tree Yao's territory alone and kill Zhao Feng. "Human, I'm afraid I can't stop him for more than a few breaths of time." The towering tree demon's weak voice sounded. Due to losing a large amount of wood spirit essence soul, its battle power was only half of its peak and couldn't stop Lu Tianyi. Eye of Ice Soul. Zhao Feng's consciousness once again disappeared from his body. In the horizon, an enormous translucent blue eye appeared, and it looked down from high up in the sky. A wisp of dark blue cold light suffused it as it locked onto Lu Tianyi. Hiss! Lu Tianyi's figure stopped as his mind, consciousness, and even his body seemed to have been frozen, and he seemed to be extremely stiff and slow. Meow meow! The little thieving cat disappeared from Zhao Feng's shoulder. Shwa shwa! The inconspicuous young scorpion also disappeared along with it. The 2 dark silver ghost corpses stood on the left and right of Zhao Feng and didn't attack. "Little thieving cat, it's all up to you now." Zhao Feng looked down from the sky and locked onto Lu Tianyi with his Eye of Ice Soul. Under the state of the Eye of Heaven, the Eye of Ice Soul could merge with heaven and earth. Even someone as strong as Lu Tianyi's speed and movements were greatly reduced. What made Zhao Feng happy was that the little thieving cat could not only turn invisible, it could also turn invisible with the youngling scorpion. Zhao Feng had the Ying Shadow Cloak, an inheritance treasure, so he could also turn invisible, but it was only limited to himself. He couldn't turn invisible with others. From this, one could see that the little thieving cat's abilities had increased as it grew. Zhao Feng was looking forward to what method the little thieving cat would use to reduce his losses and slow down Lu Tianyi's footsteps. From the current situation, it was almost impossible to kill Lu Tianyi. From start to finish, Zhao Feng used the word delay to slow down Lu Tianyi's approach. Through the Eye of Heaven, Zhao Feng could faintly see the little thieving cat and the youngling scorpion's movements. No one under the Origin Core realm will be able to sense the little thieving cat getting close. Zhao Feng nodded his head in his heart. It could be said that the little thieving cat was a natural thief and a natural assassin. Probably only Zhao Feng, who had the god spiritual eye, could counter the little thieving cat's talent. Even when the little thieving cat was 20 yards away from Lu Tianyi, the latter didn't sense it. At this moment, Zhao Feng's heart tensed. 20 yards, 15 yards, 10 yards. The little thieving cat and the youngling scorpion slowly approached Lu Tianyi. When the little thieving cat was 50 yards away, Lu Tianyi suddenly exclaimed as if he sensed something. His cultivation was after all at the half-step Origin Core realm, which exceeded the 3 heavens of the true spirit realm. Even if he was locked on by the Eye of Ice Soul, he would still sense it. Lu Tianyi's expression and actions obviously didn't escape Zhao Feng's notice. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. He knew how terrifying Lu Tianyi was. Even his light of true spirit could kill weaker true lord ranks. At this moment, as long as Lu Tianyi released his chi of true spirit, he could instantly kill the little thieving cat and youngling scorpion. The little thieving cat's battle power was at most close to the true lord rank, and its strength mainly came from its talent and abilities. So, the little thieving cat and youngling scorpion suddenly revealed themselves and quickly closed in on Lu Tianyi. 50 yards, 40 yards, 30 yards, the little thieving cat quickly closed in. The youngling scorpion's speed obviously wasn't as fast as the little thieving cat, but it wasn't a problem for the little thieving cat. The little thieving cat used the mystic snake blood whip to wrap around the youngling scorpion and quickly closed in on Lu Tianyi. A distance of 40 yards was less than half a breath's time for the little thieving cat. Facing the little thieving cat, Lu Tianyi couldn't dodge or defend because he was restricted by the Eye of Ice Soul. Humph! You've come to die again. Lu Tianyi's lips curled into a mocking smile. He didn't even think about dodging. Although his speed was restricted, his light of true spirit was still there. Once the little thieving cat and youngling scorpion got close, Lu Tianyi could shatter them into pieces with just his light of true spirit. Little thieving cat, with your strength, you won't be able to break through Lu Tianyi's defense. You should be clear about this. Zhao Feng's eyes were in the clouds and he controlled the situation. Qiu, the little thieving cat brought the youngling scorpion close to Lu Tianyi. Die! Lu Tianyi was prepared and had even released his light of true spirit. A wave of golden light swept across a radius of dozens of yards and was enough to kill normal true lord ranks. Zhao Feng's heart was in his throat. His god's spiritual eye's judgment of the enemy's strength was extremely accurate. The little thieving cat and youngling scorpion had no way of fighting back in front of Lu Tianyi. Putting them aside, even Zhao Feng would be instantly killed if Lu Tianyi got close. Boom! The golden light from Lu Tianyi's body turned the nearby towering tree Yao's leaves into dust. From a glance, the area around Lu Tianyi seemed to have evaporated. At the same time, the towering tree Yao gave a weak roar. Little thieving cat! Yi Yanyu, who was watching from the back, couldn't help but exclaim with an ugly expression. She had a special feeling towards the little thieving cat even though it and Zhao Feng had once worked together to scheme against her. Now that the little thieving cat was killed, Yi Yanyu couldn't bear to see it die. Zhao Feng, you bastard! How could you be so cruel to send the little thieving cat to its death? Yi Yanyu bit her teeth and looked at the Eye of Heaven in the clouds. The Eye of Heaven was basically the same as Zhao Feng's left eye in terms of appearance. It was like an enlarged version. At this moment, the Eye of Heaven had a cold expression and didn't have any emotions. It was as if the death of the little thieving cat and youngling scorpion didn't affect Zhao Feng at all. The Eye of Heaven radiated a soul-chilling power and locked onto Lu Tianyi. Ha ha ha! How much more cannon fodder do you have? Send them all over. Lu Tianyi laughed. Although his speed was limited, he was still closing in on Zhao Feng. Faintly, Lu Tianyi saw the figure of a blue-haired youth standing amongst the leaves. He was like a soulless shell that didn't move. Next to the blue-haired youth were two dark silver ghost corpses. Lu Tianyi's lips curled into a cruel smile. Brother Zhao Feng, the ruin's treasured palace will descend in 3 breaths. A gentle female voice appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. Good, everything's ready. Zhao Feng nodded his head and let out a breath. From this moment onwards, he only needed to count to 3 for the ruin's treasured palace to descend and Zhao Feng's mission would be completed. However, Lu Tianyi would definitely be able to get close to Zhao Feng in 3 breaths. Zhao Feng estimated that under normal circumstances, even if he could make it through, the remaining 2 dark silver ghost corpses wouldn't be able to escape. Zhao Feng, no matter how cold and calculating you are, you won't be able to escape death. Yi Yenyu's face was filled with hatred and killing intent. She stared at the sky. The eye in the clouds was calm and didn't show any signs of panic. There was even a hint of mockery in the Eye of Heaven. Little thieving cat, you're indeed smart. A voice sounded in the mental energy world. In the next instant, meow meow. A silver-gray cat the size of a palm appeared in front of Lu Tianyi. What? How was this possible? The geniuses of the 3 sects were dazed and their eyes went wide. Immediately after, a youngling scorpion the size of a baby's palm was whipped by the little thieving cat and with it entered Lu Tianyi's laughing mouth. Chapter 436. Woo! The smile on Lu Tianyi's face froze and his mouth was wide open as if he was choking on something. The geniuses of the 3 sects were left dumbfounded on the spot. Their faces were filled with utter shock, unable to believe what they had just seen. Meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its mystic snake blood whip and instantly pulled 20 yards away from Lu Tianyi. How is this possible? How can a measly little thieving cat survive Lu Tianyi's chi of true spirit? Even those at the true lord rank would die in that situation. How could the little thieving cat and youngling scorpion disappear and then reappear? The geniuses present couldn't believe their eyes. The little thieving cat and youngling scorpion had disappeared in Lu Tianyi's chi of true spirit, but the next instant, the two reappeared. What was even more shocking was that the little thieving cat had thrown the youngling scorpion into Lu Tianyi's mouth. The youngling scorpion had inherited the bloodline of the ancient scorpion and had a mutated nature. In theory, its poison could kill most experts at the true spirit realm. However, the situation was worse than imagined. If the youngling scorpion had only scratched the surface of Lu Tianyi's body, the poison would need a short period of time to enter his body. However, the youngling scorpion had directly entered Lu Tianyi's body. If the poison was activated in his body, its power would increase by several times and there would be no need for a process. If that was it, it wouldn't be a big deal. After all, the youngling scorpion's poison was still weaker than a true ancient scorpion's. On the other hand, Lu Tianyi was half a step into the origin core realm and could even resist the poison of a true ancient scorpion. However, the position where the youngling scorpion entered Lu Tianyi was extremely special. Woo, cough cough, Lu Tianyi's hand grabbed his throat and his face was filled with pain. Large beads of sweat appeared on his forehead and his face alternated between green and purple. Damn it! The youngling scorpion stuck in Brother Lu's throat. The disciples of the Pure Moon spiritual sect exclaimed. As soon as this was said, the expressions of the geniuses of the three sects changed dramatically. Whether it was an expert at the true spirit realm or the origin core realm, the throat and heart were all vital points. Once the heart and throat were injured, even a true lord rank wouldn't be able to escape death. That young giant scorpion was actually stuck in Lu Tianyi's throat. The situation was terrible. When the poison flared up in the throat, its power was more than 10 times more terrifying than when it flared up on the surface of the body. Brother Lu. Yi Yenyu's pretty face paled, and with a swoosh, she transformed into a ray of moonlight that was hard to discern with the naked eye and flew over to rescue Lu Tianyi. Lu Tianyi's figure was on the verge of collapsing in midair. His face was ferocious and his eyes were filled with killing intent and hatred. Die, for me, he forcefully circulated his chi of true spirit and sent a palm towards the little thieving cat. Meow, meow. The little thieving cat seemed to be prepared and disappeared. Amidst the clouds, there was a hint of mockery in the cold expression of the huge blue eyes. Ice Soul Ray. The eye of heaven shot out a vast and frighteningly cold ray of light. With a boom, it pierced through Lu Tianyi's body and soul. Whoosh! Using this chance, the little thieving cat flashed into the leaves of the tree Yao. Well done! Zhao Feng's consciousness returned to his body and smiled faintly with a pale face. The little thieving cat's performance just then could be said to be stunning, forcing Lu Tianyi into a life-and-death situation. At this moment, Lu Tianyi's poison flared up and his body spasmed. Brother Lu. Yi Yenyu was the first to arrive and support Lu Tianyi. After that, Zhuangwan, and the other true lord ranks arrived and surrounded Lu Tianyi. Lu Tianyi didn't even last 2 or 3 breaths before fainting. After Li Hong, the second true lord rank of the Pure Moon spiritual sect had fainted, and it was the strongest of the 10 true lord ranks, Lu Tianyi. And the instigator of all of this was the blue-haired outsider. Zhao Feng. You've killed so many people from the same sect. Yu Luo is dead, Brother Li and Brother Lu are both dead. The Pure Moon spiritual sect won't let you go. Yi Yenyu clenched her teeth and her lips started to bleed. Her face was twisted under the cold killing intent. However, Yi Yenyu maintained her rationality and didn't let Zhao Feng's mysterious eye bloodline attack take advantage of her. In reality, at this point in the battle, Zhao Feng's soul power had almost been used up and he didn't dare to use too much of his eye bloodline. The eye of heaven in the clouds had already retracted. Human, your performance has surprised me. Although I've lost almost half of my wood spirit essence soul, it's my fortune to be able to escape this. The towering tree Yao seemed to be relieved. After a fierce battle, Zhao Feng and the towering tree Yao finally won. Right at this moment, when a weird vibration came from the towering tree Yao's head and the air started to tremble. Soon after, a layer of strange illusory purple mist surrounded the top of the towering tree demon and slowly condensed at the gap. The melodious music was dreamy and illusory, echoing in the void for a long time. In just a few breaths, the dreamy purple mist started to condense and one could faintly see a purple palace that gave off a multicolored glow. That's... The hearts of the geniuses from the three sects shook as they stared at the purple palace that was slowly forming. Ruin's treasured palace. That's the inheritance ground of the Purple Knight's sacred lord, the Purple Saint treasured palace. The geniuses from the three sects revealed expressions of joy. When the purple palace descended in the dreamy mist and was right at the gap of the towering tree Yao. At the same time, a devilish blue-haired youth stood in front of the gap in the leaves, right in front of the Purple Saint treasured palace. There must be a plan behind this. When the geniuses of the three sects saw this, their hearts were filled with shock. They felt like vomiting blood because of the absurdity of the situation. This scene gave everyone the feeling that Zhao Feng had been waiting here for a long time and the Purple Saint treasured palace just happened to appear in front of him. Everyone, we'll meet again. Zhao Feng's lips curled into a wicked and cold smile. His body flickered as he pierced through the dreamy mist and vanished. The time it takes for the Purple Saint treasured palace to descend is extremely short. Everyone, hurry up. Zhuang Wan was the first to fly into the dreamy mist. In reality, the ruins treasured palace's descent was to protect the towering tree Yao and it wouldn't leave. The geniuses from the three sects didn't have the mood to attack the towering tree Yao when they saw the arrival of the Purple Saint treasured palace. So the geniuses of the three sects used their fastest speed to enter the Purple Saint treasured palace. Zhao Feng has been standing guard here to stall for time. He seems to know when the Purple Saint treasured palace will descend. Yi Yenyu's eyes twinkled and she had a guess. The descent of the Purple Saint treasured palace this time was different. The palace was right at the gap of the towering tree Yao. Send Brother Lu and Brother Li back to the outside world and tell the elders of the sect about this before we enter the Purple Saint ruins. Yi Yenyu ordered. The geniuses of the three sects all had their own inheritance tokens. As long as they crushed the token, they would be able to return to the outside world. Soon, the Pure Moon spiritual sect sent two geniuses to escort Lu Tianyi and Li Hong away. Crack! Crack! Lu Tianyi and Li Hong's inheritance tokens were crushed and the two were engulfed by a silver whirlpool, disappearing from the Purple Saint ruins. There's a Void God Realm King outside. Brother Lu and Brother Li might still be saved. Yi Yenyu finished all this before entering the ruins' treasured palace. In order to protect the towering tree Yao, the geniuses of the three sects were allowed to enter the ruins' treasured palace. The geniuses all entered the Purple Saint ruins. This was probably the first time something like this had happened in the past 10,000 years. Inside a beautiful and exquisite palace. Shwa! 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 Figures appeared one after another. They were the geniuses of the three sections. The geniuses that entered the Purple Saint treasured palace came from the Pure Moon spiritual sect, Moon Demon Palace and Black Cliff Palace. That brat's right in front. A disciple from the Black Cliff Palace's expression changed as he looked at a blue-haired youth at the eastern exit. On the shoulder of the blue-haired youth was a cat the size of a palm that smiled at the geniuses of the three sections. This human and cat were obviously Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat that had entered the Purple Saint treasured palace. That youngling scorpion isn't dead yet? Zhao Feng exclaimed. He had signed a blood pact with the youngling scorpion, so if the youngling scorpion died, Zhao Feng, as its owner, would feel it. In order to deal with Lu Tianyi, Zhao Feng was prepared to give up on the youngling scorpion. Zhao Feng originally thought that the youngling scorpion wouldn't be able to escape death. But right at this moment, Zhao Feng suddenly found that his connection with the youngling scorpion had weakened. This was the moment when Lu Tianyi and Li Hong left the Purple Saint ruins. Zhao Feng thought for a while and guessed. At this moment, the geniuses of the three sects entered the Purple Saint ruins and many of them saw Zhao Feng. However, the geniuses of the three sects such as Zhuang Wan, Qi Gui and company were full of wariness as they looked at Zhao Feng not far away. Although they had the numbers advantage, they were wary of Zhao Feng who hadn't even reached the true lord rank and didn't dare to make a move. Zhao Feng stood still and didn't bother with the geniuses of the three sections. A voice sounded in his mind, "Zhao Feng, I'll give you the map of the ruins' treasured palace. There's the way to open all the passages and arrays." The owner of this voice was the Purple Saint Partial Spirit. Shua! A diagram of a large palace soon appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. There were some entrances and arrays marked on it. The entire ruins' treasured palace is split into 3 floors. The first level was the Myriad Treasure Hall. It contained some of the inheritance techniques that the Purple Knight Saint Lord had collected when she was alive. It involved astronomy, geography, divination, medicine, cultivation techniques, and so on. In terms of scale, it was comparable to ordinary inheritances. The second floor was the Legend Treasure Palace. Every supreme art, divine weapon, or treasure represented a legend. The third floor is the Purple Knight Treasured Palace and contains the Purple Knight Saint Lord's own inheritance. Yu Fei is there. Zhao Feng used his god's spiritual eye to copy the map and a lot of information appeared. His senses weren't suppressed in the Purple Saint ruins and his god's spiritual eye could see through anything. Now that he had the map and arrays of the Purple Saint Treasured Palace. The moon-robed woman gently raised her lily-white hand, and a holy and gorgeous silvery-white moonlight descended from the sky, enveloping Lu Tianyi. Ugh! In his unconscious state, Lu Tianyi let out a painful groan. Immediately after. Whoosh! A young scorpion the size of an infant's palm was imprisoned by a cluster of silver moonlight and fell into the hands of the moon-robed woman. He didn't know what method the moon-robed celestial ant used to directly grab the youngling scorpion stuck in Lu Tianyi's throat. This young scorpion is a rare ancient mutated beast. The moon-robed woman imprisoned the young scorpion and took out a translucent crystal bottle. She flicked out a drop of pure and flawless crystal liquid, which directly seeped into Lu Tianyi's body amidst the flickering silvery moonlight. Holy Spirit purifying liquid. The expressions of the golden skeleton and the demonic Tao King changed slightly. After using the Holy Spirit purifying liquid, the poison within Lu Tianyi's body was quickly cleansed, and his life was soon out of danger. After waking up, Lu Tianyi told the situation in detail. If my guesses aren't wrong, then Zhao Feng definitely knows when the inheritance treasured palace will descend. Looks like the worst-case scenario still happened. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit has already confirmed the inheritor of the ruins. The inheritor of the ruins is obviously another outsider genius that entered the inheritance. The expressions of the 3 Void God Realm Kings became more solemn. Zhao Feng could be eliminated as the inheritor of the ruins. This was because he only entered the inheritance treasured palace later and had lasted for so long. It wasn't hard to guess that Zhao Feng was trying to buy time for the inheritor of the ruins. The worst-case scenario was that the owner of the Purple Saint ruins might change. We don't need to worry too much. If the inheritor can't break through to the origin core realm within a dozen or so years, he won't be able to truly control the ruins. The golden skeleton said in a deep tone. After all, the Purple Saint ruins was an independent dimension, and normal true spirit realms wouldn't be able to completely refine and control it even with the help of the Purple Saint Partial Spirit. That's right. Our 3 sects will team up and try to exhaust the Purple Saint Partial Spirit's power. After a dozen or so years, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit's power will be used up, and the inheritor won't be able to fully control the ruins. The demonic Tao male laughed. The three Void God Realm kings had sensed the changes in the Purple Saint ruins, and their guesses were extremely close to the truth. A measly true mystic rank has a low chance of breaking through to the Origin Core realm within a dozen or so years. Even Lu Tianyi wasn't able to do this. The moon-robed female smiled faintly. The gap between the true spirit realm and the Origin Core realm was as wide as the abyss. For example, the Canopy Great Country had 8 major forces and countless families. They had experts at the true spirit realm and some at the true lord rank, but such a large country hadn't given birth to a sovereign in 100 years. Even the legendary 2-star sects didn't have many sovereigns at the Origin Core realm, and the birth of one was worth celebrating. Furthermore, it's not like we don't have any clues. The moon-robed ant goddess eyes flashed. Oh? The other 2 Void God Realm kings looked toward the moon-robed ant goddess. The moon-robed ant goddess smiled and held the youngling scorpion in her hand. So that's how it is. The golden skeleton and the demonic Tao king understood. The youngling scorpion was the youngling scorpion. The youngling scorpion was Zhao Feng's spiritual pet, and there was a connection between them. This mutated primordial beast will be given to my pure moon spiritual sect to nurture. The stronger it is, the stronger the connection with Zhao Feng will be. When the connection is strong enough, we might even be able to find his location. The moon-robed ant goddess put away the youngling scorpion. At the same time, inside a beautiful palace in the Purple Saint ruins, Zhao Feng and the disciples of the 3 sects had all arrived. The disciples of the 3 sects were full of wariness towards Zhao Feng and didn't dare to attack him. In reality, Zhao Feng had used up a lot of energy in the battle and didn't dare to use his god spiritual eye too often. Within the dimension of his left eye, the freezing pond had reached a limit of 90 yards, and its growth had once again reached a bottleneck. Zhao Feng could feel that once the diameter of the freezing pond broke the limit of 10 yards, the god's spiritual eye might change once more. Zhao Feng couldn't predict what would happen when the god's spiritual eye awakened. Shua! With a wave of his Yin shadow cloak, Zhao Feng's figure disappeared. Only Zhuang Wan, and a few other true lord ranks were able to see where Zhao Feng left. Even if Zhao Feng doesn't use his eye bloodline, his strength is still stronger than normal true lord ranks. The geniuses of the 3 sects felt fear. Everyone, act according to the situation. Zhuang Wan flashed and passed through the eastern exit of the palace. Zhuang Wan's target was Zhao Feng. She didn't just do this because of instinct, but also because of her analysis. Following Zhao Feng might give her unexpected gains. This woman is chasing me relentlessly, but she doesn't have any killing intent. Zhao Feng followed the map of the Purple Saint treasured palace in his mind and passed through the complex palace. In terms of speed, Zhao Feng couldn't escape from Zhuang Wan. Zhuang Wan's strength was on par with Yi Yanyu and was even stronger than the deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. The 9 venerable lords and the overlords of the continent exclaimed. Shua! A youth stepped out from the entrance representing the Heaven's Legacy inheritance. His aura had reached the early stage True Lord rank. Yu Tianhao. A commotion broke out in the arena. However, the expressions of the elders from the 10,000 Origin clan were slightly ugly. Apart from Yu Tianhao, Xian Wuheng had also entered the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, but the latter hadn't come out. Even if they could read lips, they would not be able to make out what they were saying. However, Venerable Yu Xingqian's face was filled with joy again and again, which made the others certain that Yu Tianhao had gained a great fortune in the Heaven's Legacy inheritance. Every time the Heavenly Fortune inheritance descends, it changes the situation of the continent. Since Yu Tianhao was able to enter the Heaven's Legacy inheritance and return with success, there's a high chance that he will leave a bright mark in the history of the continent. The bronze-skinned Vice Palace Master had a look of praise and expectation on his face. So. At this time, a few figures from the 10,000 Origin sect quickly closed in on Yuxingchen. Yuxingchen's expression dimmed as a powerful aura made the true lord ranks of the 10,000 Origin clan unable to breathe. Sovereign, please calm down. We're elders of the 10,000 Origin clan and we have something to ask you, Tianhao. An elder at the half-step Origin core realm said respectfully. 10,000 Origin clan. Yuxingchen murmured these words and felt that they were familiar. He seemed to think of the past glory of this clan and some experts, and his expression softened. The 10,000 Origin clan's strength was only below the Heavenly Yuan clan in the northern continent. Yuxingchen and the Vice Palace Master didn't even need to think to guess that the 10,000 Origin clan had come to find Xian Wuheng. Apart from Yu Tianhao, there was another genius that entered the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, and that was Xian Wuheng. I only saw Xian Wuheng once in the inheritance and I don't know where he went. Yu Tianhao said. He had sparred with Xian Wuheng before and the latter gave him a mysterious and unfathomable feeling. However, the geniuses that entered the Heaven's Legacy inheritance weren't limited to the Azure Flower continent. There were geniuses from other continents as well. Hearing Yu Tianhao's reply, the expressions of the elders of the 10,000 Origin clan became dim. If one didn't come out after entering the inheritance, there was a high chance that something would happen. Xian Wuheng might have died. Yu Tianhao didn't beat around the bush. The expressions of those from the 10,000 Origin clan became even uglier as they became dejected and dejected. However, according to the news I received from the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, there's another small possibility. The geniuses that enter the Heaven's Legacy inheritance have a small chance of entering a higher-ranked Heaven's Legacy inheritance. Yu Tianhao said hesitantly. The Heavenly Legacy inheritance was a famous great inheritance in the world. It divided the main inheritance into countless branches of various sizes, which shone everywhere in the world. Of course, the chance that Yu Tianhao spoke of was extremely small and could even be considered a legend. At least in the history of the Azure Flower continent, there had never been such an example. Although the elders of the 10,000 Origin clan had a sliver of hope, they didn't have much hope and left. Sacred True Dragon Gathering. 2 months later, there were many true dragon geniuses that came out from the inheritances. In the same inheritance, some geniuses could return, but there were also some who met with accidents in the outer realm inheritances. In 2.5 months, the overwhelming prodigies Shi Qingtian, Goddess Bingwei and Tantai Lanyue all appeared and had made good progress. Amongst them, Goddess Bingwei returned from the Mystic Ice inheritance and had broken through to the True Lord rank, just below Yu Tianhao. The Heaven's Legacy inheritance and Mystic Ice inheritance had both ended. Soon, Zhang Yue returned from the Seven Sword inheritance with a piercing sword aura. Her cultivation was close to the True Lord rank and the sword intent radiating from her could even pressure the True Lord ranks present. Of the 4 great inheritances of the Azure Flower continent, the Seven Sword inheritance was just below the Heaven's Legacy inheritance. The sword Saint Yiwuxia had entered the Seven Sword inheritance. When 3 months had passed, all the inheritances that connected to the Azure Flower continent had ended. Around half of the geniuses had returned from the inheritances. Prince Jin, Wang Xiaoguai, Tian Yunji and company from the Canopy Great Country all appeared. However, Zhao Feng and Lu Qinxin hadn't returned from the inheritances. Xian. In a corner of the sacred True Dragon Gathering, the Flooding Lake City Lord's eyebrows were furrowed as worry appeared on his face. The inheritance that Lu Qinxin had entered wasn't a major inheritance but a special Sky Saint Qin inheritance. Of the entire sacred True Dragon Gathering, only she had entered this inheritance. Of the 100 true dragon geniuses, Lu Qinxin wasn't very outstanding. She hadn't returned from the inheritance and the sovereigns of the Sacred Alliance didn't pay attention to her. According to logic, Lu Qinxin had most likely met with an accident. All the inheritances have ended. However, there's still no news from the unknown inheritance that Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei entered. The sovereigns of the Sacred Alliance paid close attention to this. Zhao Feng and company had entered an unknown inheritance that was even stronger than the Heaven's Legacy inheritance. However, Almost 3 months had passed and neither Zhao Feng nor Zhao Yufei had come out. With Zhao Feng's Ai bloodline, his ability to survive should be extremely strong. The sovereigns discussed in low tones. Zhao Feng was the Black Horse King of this sacred true dragon gathering, the new overwhelming prodigy. In this glorious era, only he could compete with Yu Tianhao. However, this Black Horse King that had created miracles hadn't appeared after entering the unknown inheritance for so long. Zhao Feng, could it be that your miracle ends here? The Iron Blood Religion Deputy Patriarch murmured. He had witnessed Zhao Feng's growth and didn't believe that he would die so easily. Even the sovereigns all agreed that Zhao Feng's ability to survive was extremely strong. Zhao Feng, who had the god spiritual eye, might not be able to beat Yu Tianhao, but his ability to survive was definitely stronger. The 5 overwhelming prodigies had all appeared. Only Zhao Feng hadn't returned from the inheritance. Regarding this, the sovereigns of the Sacred Alliance, the elders of the continent, and the geniuses all paid close attention. This Zhao Feng might just be a shooting star in the long river of history. Many experts of the older generation sighed lightly. They, the older generation, had witnessed too many ups and downs, and they had seen many dazzling geniuses who had died prematurely. As time passed, the number of people in the sacred true dragon gathering became fewer and fewer. The peak gathering several months ago started to die down. At the end, only a small number of people such as the Flooding Lake City Lord and the Iron Blood Religion Deputy Patriarch were unwilling to leave. However, Zhao Feng, Lu Qinxin and Xian Wuheng didn't return to the sacred true dragon gathering. Looks like Yufei has probably met with misfortune. The upper echelon of the Heavenly Yuan clan sighed in pity. How is this possible? Yufei has the legendary bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races flowing in her body. Dao's sovereign Bai Yun of the Heavenly Yuan clan was filled with doubt and disbelief. He was Zhao Yufei's master. He was full of confidence and expectations for his disciple. He even guarded the secret in his heart. However, after such a long time, the sacred true dragon gathering had ended, but Zhao Yufei still hadn't returned. Grand Elder, the sacred true dragon gathering has ended. When will you go back? A half-step origin core realm elder of the Heavenly Yuan clan asked respectfully. You guys go back first. I'll wait a few more days. Dao's sovereign Bai Yun closed his eyes and waved his hand. Mo Tianyi of the Heavenly Yuan clan wanted to say something but sighed in his heart. Zhao Feng, Sister Yufei, I didn't think the two of you would be lost in an unknown inheritance. Until now. No one believed that Zhao Feng or Zhao Yufei could return. The Azure Flower continent knew about the Heaven's Legacy inheritance and the Seven Sword inheritance. However, Zhao Feng and Yufei had entered an unknown inheritance that even the experts of the Sacred Alliance didn't know about. Dao's sovereign Bai Yun, I'm sorry for your loss. One of the sovereigns shook his head. Deputy Patriarch, when will we return to the great country? Zhao Feng has probably already entered the unknown inheritance. A protector of the Iron Blood Religion said. We'll wait for the last 3 days. Chapter 439. Let's wait for the last 3 days. Tiamo's voice was low as he scanned the ancient arena. The entire arena was empty and deathly silent. The towering stone statues in the surroundings were completely silent and dark. The original charm and invisible spiritual energy no longer existed. Apart from Tiamo, the Flooding Lake City Lord didn't leave. The Grand Elder of the Heavenly Yuan clan, Dao's sovereign White Cloud, sighed with his eyes closed. The majority of the sovereigns of the Sacred Alliance had left to discuss how to deal with the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Only half of the 100 true dragon geniuses left unscathed. Whether it was Xian Wuheng who entered the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei who entered the Unknown inheritance, or Lu Qinxin who entered the Sky Saint Qin inheritance, none of them reappeared. Let's go. Blood-haired Tiamo left the ancient arena with deep regret. In the end, the Sacred Alliance closed the ancient arena and dismissed everyone. The most prosperous sacred true dragon gathering had come to an end with the departure of the person. Maybe many years later, there would still be people talking about the glory of this sacred true dragon gathering, but it was more likely that as time passed, the world would gradually forget the prodigies of this sacred true dragon gathering. However, was it really over? In a desolate and ancient palace far away in the relic space. In his line of sight, ancient and dilapidated stone statues and ancient tablets stood towering in the desolate hall, as if they were telling the legends of the past. There were around 100 of these stone tablets and they contained an aura similar to the stone statues in the ancient arena, but they were more real and could be sensed. In a certain corner of the palace was a stone statue that was 10 yards tall. This stone statue was a demonic girl with a pair of wings on her back. There was a dark demonic moon on her forehead and a scarlet-black moon flame around her body. There were a few words at the foot of the demonic girl statue, Moon Demon Empress. The Moon Demon Empress was a famous void god realm emperor of the Moon Demon Palace 10,000 years ago. Her inheritance is indeed extraordinary. I have studied it for more than 2 months and only managed to absorb half of it. Zhuang Wan's face was filled with joy. Even the virtual god realm had different levels. At least on the Tianlu Islands, the Pure Moon spiritual sect and the other 2-star sects had not heard of any nihility god realm that could be crowned with the title of emperor. Zhuang Wan's eyes flickered as she looked towards the center of the hall. She was able to enter this desolate hall because of one person. In the center of the hall, there were 4 taller and more majestic stone statues. They emitted an invisible spiritual will that seemed to pierce through time and space. One of the majestic statues had a few words written on it, Wind Lightning Emperor. A blue-haired youth sat in front of the statue that represented the Wind Lightning Emperor. His left eye would occasionally open, and it was cold and sharp like a blade of lightning. Zhao Feng, I didn't think you'd receive the Wind Thunder Emperor's inheritance so quickly. Back then, the Wind Lightning Emperor was known as the fastest emperor and his battle strength was unrivaled. Even Master Ziyi let him escape several times. A female's voice sounded in his mind. A blurry scene appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. 2 unimaginable forces clashed in the limitless ocean. One of them was surrounded by a dragon of lightning that devoured heaven and earth. Every time the figure flashed, it could cross 1,000 miles. Every time it waved its hand, heaven and earth would flip, as if it was a god. The other figure surrounded by a dreamy purple light had a blurry figure that looked like the purple Saint Partial Spirit. Its cultivation was even higher, and it started a shocking battle with the Wind Lightning figure. Finally, due to the difference in cultivation, the Wind Lightning figure turned into a beam of light that pierced through the limitless ocean and successfully escaped. The Wind Lightning Emperor is indeed worthy of being the fastest emperor. He can fight those with higher cultivation and even escape from the Purple Night Sacred Lord. Zhao Feng slowly stood up. This was the 2nd floor of the Purple Saint Treasured Palace, the legendary Treasured Palace. In the legendary Treasure Palace, every ancient stone tablet represented a legend in the past. Because Zhao Feng comprehended the laws of lightning, he chose the Wind Lightning Emperor's inheritance. Using his own comprehension of the laws of lightning and the god's spiritual eyes learning ability, he finally received the recognition of a wisp of the remnant spirit within the stone tablet. Every stone tablet in the legendary Treasure Palace contained a wisp of partial spirit intent, similar to the Purple Saint Partial Spirit. However, their intelligence wasn't high, and they only had a sliver of will left. Even if the Void God Realm kings and emperors died, their will still existed in heaven and earth and could last for many years. In the dimension of his left eye, the 3-story building that represented the lightning inheritance shattered and disappeared. In its place was a broken ancient tablet with a layer of electric ripples lingering on it. It contained the Wind Thunder Emperor's comprehension of the profound of wind and thunder when he was alive. At this point in time, the entire Wind Lightning stone tablet was dead silent, and the brightness wasn't even 1%. In just 2 months, I've obtained the Wind Lightning Emperor's inheritance, but I haven't even comprehended 1% of it. Zhao Feng exited from his comprehension with a tired expression. The lightning inheritance that he had comprehended in the past wasn't even 1% of the Wind Lightning Emperor's inheritance in terms of profoundness. It was hard to imagine how terrifying the Wind Lightning Emperor's battle power was when he was at his peak. There were 4 tallest stone tablets in the legendary treasure palace, and the other 3 were mystic light realms like the Purple Knight's Sacred Lord. They were only 1 step away from the heavenly divine realm. From this, one could see how unique the Wind Lightning Emperor was for it to be able to stand side by side with the other 3 stone tablets. The reason why Zhao Feng chose this inheritance was because it was suitable. He didn't choose the ice element inheritance because he was worried that the god's spiritual eye would change the element of his bloodline. Once the element of his bloodline changed, there would be no point for Zhao Feng to choose the ice, water, and lightning inheritance. However, the Wind Lightning inheritance didn't have this problem. Zhao Feng's comprehension of the Tao of Wind and the Tao of Lightning had been established a long time ago. Meow meow. On the other side of the desolate hall, the little thieving cat's body was hanging on an uneven stone wall. There was a dark transparent dagger embedded in one of the stone walls. The little thieving cat had sat in front of this dagger for 2 months and would occasionally wave its paws around. Jian! When the dark transparent dagger suddenly turned into a blur and disappeared from the stone wall. Meow meow. The little thieving cat had a joyful expression as it tapped with its paw and put away the dark dagger. Zhao Feng looked at it and was slightly surprised, but it wasn't too late. How is this possible? It actually obtained this legendary weapon. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit's voice contained a hint of panic. Shwa! After the little thieving cat obtained the dark transparent dagger, it suddenly flashed and landed on Zhao Feng's shoulder. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. What kind of weapon did the little thieving cat obtain that even the Purple Saint Partial Spirit was panicking? Furthermore, after obtaining that weapon, the little thieving cat's abilities seemed to have increased. It's about time. Zhao Feng nodded his head and left the stone tablet that had already dimmed. On the other side, Zhuang Wan wanted to chase after Zhao Feng, but she was hesitant. The speed at which she obtained the inheritance was far slower than Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat, so she still hadn't finished accepting it. Zhao Feng had the god's spiritual eye and received the Wind Lightning inheritance, so his speed was even faster than Zhuang Wan's. Zhao Feng, there's an inheritance weapon in the southwest corner of the hall that might be suitable for your bloodline. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit calmed herself down and warned. Although most of the Purple Saint Partial Spirit's attention was on helping Zhao Yufei refine the Purple Saint ruins, her understanding of the Purple Saint ruins was unparalleled. Okay. Zhao Feng nodded his head and soon arrived at the northwest corner of the hall. Apart from the inheritances of skills, there were also inheritances of weapons and treasures. In the northwest corner, there was a rusty broken shield, an ancient broken sword, and a dark blue crystal spear. The owners of these 3 weapons were at least at the Void God realm, or else their weapons wouldn't have been collected by the Purple Knight's Sacred Lord. As soon as Zhao Feng got close, he felt the faint blue aura in his body move and a cold aura spread across his body. This was Zhao Feng's bloodline aura, and even his god's spiritual eye twitched when it sensed it. When the roar of a dragon came from the dark blue crystal spear, and a bone-chilling coldness rushed into Zhao Feng's soul. If it was a normal genius, even a true Lord rank's mind would be frozen by this coldness. Even normal origin core realms wouldn't dare to face this coldness head-on. Jian! The dark blue crystal spear flashed, and the figure of an ice dragon disappeared from the wall. Zhao Feng instinctively reached out and grabbed the dark blue crystal spear. This is the famous Ice Imperial Spear. It has been passed down for a long time. Its previous owners were basically above virtual god level. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit's voice sounded. Zhao Feng immediately thanked her. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit must have seen that the Ice Imperial Spear was extremely compatible with his bloodline, which was why she gave him such a hint. This meant that he had obtained the Wind Lightning Emperor's inheritance, and he had obtained the Ice Imperial Spear. He didn't lack anything else. This meant that Zhao Feng had obtained 2 inheritances at the same time. The Ice Imperial Spear also contained its previous owner's inheritance system. This inheritance divine weapon itself contained boundless ice and water profundities. The only unfortunate thing was that the grade of the Ice Imperial Spear had dropped, and its spirituality had disappeared. It was far from its peak. However, even then, this Ice Imperial Spear was more than 1,000 times more valuable than any of Zhao Feng's items. The 3-flowered treasured lotus, Luo Hobao, water moon god peach fan, and other items weren't very useful to Zhao Feng now. After all, Zhao Feng's current battle power was close to the late-stage True Lord rank and had surpassed the Water Moon Pirate. After obtaining a suitable inheritance, Zhao Feng left the legendary Treasured Palace and entered the Purple Saint Treasured Palace according to the map in his mind as well as the Purple Saint Partial Spirit's instructions. 3rd floor of the Purple Saint Treasured Palace. In an elegant hall, a girl dressed in purple had a crystal key floating in front of her. She waved her jade-like hand and threads of flame of true spirit entered the key. By her side was an ethereal ball of violet light that floated in midair and was assisting the violet-clothed young woman. At this moment, Zhao Feng stepped onto the 3rd floor of the Treasured Palace. This was the inheritance of the Purple Knight's Sacred Lord. Zhao Feng, in order to avoid losing energy, the Purple Saint ruins will close soon. You can choose to cultivate here for 12 years and protect Yufei. Of course, you can also choose to leave. The intangible Purple Saint Partial Spirit slowly spoke. Chapter 440. Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye and scanned the dimension he was in and found some unstable elements. In order to maintain the inheritance, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit and the Purple Saint Partial Spirit would lose energy every second. This was especially so for the Purple Saint Partial Spirit. She was the core of the Purple Saint Ruin's intent, and after so many years, her intent was almost at the end of its life. Once the Purple Saint Partial Spirit's power was used up, this ruins would become an ownerless dimension and a series of uncontrollable dangers would appear. At that time, the experts of the outside world would be able to enter and take over the ruins. Therefore, there were 2 choices in front of Zhao Feng. 1, he could stay in the Purple Saint ruins for 10 years. 2, he could return to the Azure Flower Continent. Zhao Feng, do you plan to stay in the ruins or leave? Although the Purple Saint Partial Spirit was in an illusory state, she had a noble aura. Her dreamy, beautiful eyes were filled with a trace of hope as she stared at the blue-haired youth in front of her. Being the controller of this dimension, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit knew Zhao Feng's performance very well. Although Zhao Feng's bloodline didn't belong to the 10,000 ancient races, his left eye was definitely related to it. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit hoped that Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei would be together and help the latter manage the Purple Saint ruins. More than 12 years is too long. Zhao Feng murmured in his heart as he reminisced. How many years did it take for him to go from the consolidated realm to the true spirit realm, comparable to the True Lord rank? At most, Zhao Feng had only been a martial disciple for 3 to 4 years. He wasn't even 18 yet. In many places, Zhao Feng's age wasn't even considered an adult. For Zhao Feng, more than 12 years was too long. For Zhao Feng, 10 years was an endless amount of opportunities and possibilities. Furthermore, I can't disappoint First Elder's expectations. I wonder what my hometown, the Broken Moon Clan, has fallen to. Thinking of this, Zhao Feng's expression became firm. He couldn't stay in the Purple Saint space for too long. I choose to return to the Green Flower Continent. Zhao Feng made a firm decision. After he made his decision, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit sighed with regret. If it was a normal expert, even an Origin Core Realm sovereign, they wouldn't give up on such an opportunity. In the Purple Saint ruins, the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi was extremely pure and there were countless treasures. Cultivating here was much faster than cultivating in the outside world. Zhao Feng was well aware of this. However, he still chose to return to the Green Flower Continent. The world is so vast, there might be even greater fortune than the Purple Saint ruins. Relying too much on external things isn't real. Plus, I've gotten enough from the Purple Saint ruins. Zhao Feng's will was firm and his heart was as calm as still water. He was not swayed by the temptation of the relic space itself. Sister Purple Sage, please send Brother Zhao Feng back to the Azure Flower Continent. There's also Yufei's wish there. Zhao Yufei opened her eyes, and the crystal key floating in front of her let out a low hum, causing a subtle change in the entire space of the ruins. Zhao Feng guessed that this crystal key was the core of the ruins. As long as she refined this crystal key, Zhao Yufei would be able to control the Purple Saint space. However, compared to the ruins, her cultivation was too weak. Okay, I need half a day to prepare. The Purple Saint partial spirit looked deeply at Zhao Yufei and didn't say anything else. Long ago, Zhao Yufei and the Purple Saint partial spirit had an agreement to let Zhao Feng choose and respect his choice. As expected, Zhao Feng chose to return to the Green Flower Continent. Logically speaking, Zhao Feng's choice also contained a sliver of Zhao Yufei's wish. However, there was a faint sense of loss in the depths of her heart. Brother Zhao Feng, I hope that when you return to the 13 countries, you can save the Lin Moon clan. If possible, tell the Grand Elder of the Heavenly Yuan clan, Dao Sovereign Bai Yun, that I'm fine. Zhao Yufei's eyes became slightly moist as she closed her eyes and focused on refining the crystal key. I promise. Zhao Feng nodded his head and felt slightly apologetic. He couldn't help Zhao Yufei refine and control the Purple Saint space and he couldn't stay here for more than a decade. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and waited for half a day before the ruins closed and he returned to the Azure Flower Continent. Using this time, Zhao Feng went through his gains from the Purple Saint ruins. Among the gains were some heaven spirit treasures and ancient resources such as the life-returning grass. They were all priceless in the Azure Flower Continent. Compared to them, Zhao Feng's gains from the Water Moon treasury weren't even worth mentioning. In terms of inheritances, Zhao Feng had obtained two. They were the Wind Lightning Emperor's inheritance and the Ice Imperial Spear's inheritance. Within his mind, it was a dilapidated ancient tablet that had experienced the vicissitudes of life. Its surface rippled with a layer of mysterious lightning markings, and it emanated a deep and boundless aura of the energy of wind and lightning. This Wind Lightning Stone tablet represented the essence of an emperor's inheritance. However, this Wind Thunder ancient tablet was a bit damaged. It was dim and dead silent, and its brightness was less than 1%. This meant that with Zhao Feng's foundation, he didn't even comprehend 1% of the Wind Lightning Stone tablet. If I can comprehend 1% of this Wind Lightning Stone tablet, it won't be hard for me to become a sovereign. Zhao Feng retracted his consciousness. Comprehending the Wind Thunder ancient tablet would definitely be a long process. If this ancient tablet inheritance fell into the Azure Flower Continent, it would definitely cause a huge wave. After all, this was the inheritance of a Void God Realm Emperor and it was more tempting than some of the greater inheritances. After that, Zhao Feng started to study the Ice Imperial Spear again. The Ice Imperial Spear was dark blue, like a translucent crystal. Its interior was as deep as the sea. Ice Imperial Spear, an inheritance weapon. At its peak, it was at least a high-grade Earth-grade weapon. Zhao Feng gently touched the Ice Imperial Spear and the aura of blood in his body started to circulate and merge with the Ice Imperial Spear. An Earth-grade weapon was definitely a legend in the history of the Azure Flower Continent. The once glorious dynasty of the continent, the only dynasty that surpassed the great empires, was destroyed by an Earth-rank divine weapon in a single night. When the Ice Imperial Spear seemed to melt into liquid and seeped into Zhao Feng's body. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. At this moment, the Ice Imperial Spear had disappeared in front of him and he couldn't sense it. But Zhao Feng was sure that it was in his body. It was extremely compatible with his bloodline power and had fused with his flesh and blood. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and sensed carefully. He could feel an ancient cold aura from his bloodline power, and there was also some information about the intent of ice and water mixed in. The Ice Imperial Spear wasn't just a weapon, it also contained a certain amount of inheritance information. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit's eyesight was very accurate and helped Zhao Feng find this inheritance weapon that was extremely suitable for him. However, Zhao Feng found that the Ice Imperial Spear was damaged, and most of its power and mysterious power were in deep sleep. Obtaining both the Wind Lightning Emperor and the Ice Imperial Spear. This sacred true dragon gathering's choice isn't bad. Zhao Feng was satisfied. Apart from the heavenly spirit treasures, the ancient materials, and the two legacies, he had also benefited greatly from other things. The greatest benefit was the strengthening of the soul that came from the Wood Spirit Essence Soul. Before this, Zhao Feng had used the Wood Spirit Essence Soul as a shield and used his Eye of Heaven to absorb the power of the soul essences, which strengthened his soul. Now, Zhao Feng's soul had surpassed the peak True Lord rank and his mental energy level was at least comparable to the late-stage True Lord rank. He also understood how to use the Eye of Heaven. However, these benefits were enough to make the peak True Lord ranks of the 3 two-star sects go crazy with jealousy. Time passed by slowly. In the last half a day, Zhao Feng sorted out what he had obtained from the Purple Saint Dimension. There were gains and losses. Zhao Feng's loss was that he had used too much of his eye power and didn't dare to use the god's spiritual eye for a while. Apart from that, the cub scorpion also left Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had asked the Purple Saint Partial Spirit and the answer he got was that the scorpion was either dead or not in the ruins. The young giant scorpion shouldn't be dead. Otherwise, even if it was far away, I would still have a faint feeling. Zhao Feng was certain. Of course, compared to the huge benefits, the loss of the young scorpion wasn't worth mentioning. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 dark silver poison corpses appeared on either side of Zhao Feng. In terms of battle power, these 2 dark silver ghost corpses were extremely strong and had the ability to kill anyone below the origin core realm. Before the sacred true dragon gathering, Zhao Feng would never have thought that he would have 2 true lord rank ghost corpses. With these 2 true lord rank ghost corpses, Zhao Feng could basically do whatever he wanted in Canopy Great Country. Some forces in the Canopy Great Country such as the Lu family only had 1 or 2 true lord ranks. In the Azure Flower Continent, some strong countries only had 1 or 2 true lord ranks. And this was a strong country. If it was the 13 countries that Zhao Feng came from, those small countries wouldn't even have a single true lord rank and true mystic rank were extremely rare. In the blink of an eye, half a day passed. Zhao Feng, the inheritance is closing. I'm going to send you back to the Azure Flower Continent. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit's voice sounded in his mind. Thank you, Senior Purple Saint. Zhao Feng said respectfully. It wasn't hard for him to guess that sending him back to the Azure Flower Continent and the Purple Saint Partial Spirit would expend a lot of energy. Zhao Feng, there's no need to be so polite. This is what I should do. Even if you weren't Yufei's good friend, just the fact that you guarded the towering tree Yao and protected the weak point of the inheritance, I would do my best to satisfy your request. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit smiled. After that, Wu, the enormous Purple Saint treasured palace, gave off a dazzling purple aura and even created a faint spatial ripple. Suddenly, a purple crystal door appeared in front of Zhao Feng, and the inside of it was turbid. Senior, it would be best if you could send me to the southwest border of the northern continent. Zhao Feng guessed that the sacred true dragon gathering had probably ended. The southwest border of the northern continent was the territory of the 13 countries and the 2 strong countries. Chapter 441. According to Zhao Feng's thoughts, it would be even better if the Purple Saint Partial Spirit could teleport him to a more precise location. Calculating the time, the sacred true dragon gathering had most likely ended by now. Even after returning to the ancient arena, Zhao Feng still had a headache about how to face the questions from everyone. After all, the Purple Saint ruins that Zhao Feng had entered belonged to an unknown inheritance. Zhao Feng didn't know how to explain where Zhao Yufei had gone as this was a huge secret. The place he really wanted to go wasn't the ancient arena or the Canopy Great Country, but his home. Thinking back, the reason he went to the Canopy Great Country was because of the cloud area. Before he left, the new clan master of the Broken Moon clan, Hai-Yun Master, had sent out a bounty to kill him. The bounty had spread across the 13 countries. And now, Zhao Feng estimated that the time was ripe, and with his strength, he could kill his way back to the cloud area. You're asking for more than I expected. I have a purple saint token here, it's equivalent to a spatial marker. The purple saint partial spirit smiled, and a purple token turned into a streak of light that landed in Zhao Feng's hand. Zhao Feng took the purple saint token and was slightly puzzled. Through this purple saint token, there will be a faint connection between you and the purple saint ruins. If one day you want to return to the purple saint space, or if Yu Fei needs your help, you can even use this to get in touch and open up another inheritance passage. The purple saint partial spirit explained. After Zhao Feng heard this, he was slightly surprised. This meant that he would have a chance to enter the purple saint space again after returning to the Azure Flower continent. This purple saint token is the last one and can only be used 3 times. You must use it carefully. The purple saint partial spirit warned. Zhao Feng nodded his head and took care of the purple saint token. I have a few more things for you. The purple saint partial spirit raised her hand, and a dragon-carved jade talisman, an ancient metal ring, and a black pearl appeared in the air. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. Instinct told him that the 3 items given by the purple saint partial spirit weren't normal. Thinking about it, the purple saint partial spirit was the controller of this ruins, so how could her gift be ordinary? Meow, meow. The little thieving cat appeared with an excited expression. This jade talisman is called the Jade Dragon Protection. The materials used to create it even contain a trace of the bloodline of an ancient true dragon. It's similar to the Void God Protection, but it's even more special. It can be used to attack, defend, and protect one's life. This jade talisman can be used twice more. The purple saint partial spirit introduced. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up when he heard that. Before this, he had seen Yi Yanyu use the terrifying power of the Void God Protection with his own eyes. Even the towering tree Yao, who had a strong body, was half crippled. The Void God Protection was equivalent to 1/10 of a Void God Realm King's power in offense and defense. If used properly, the attack of the Void God Protection could even kill a Primal Core Realm Sovereign. The Jade Dragon Protection that the Purple Saint Partial Spirit gave him was even more unique than normal Void God Protection, and it could be used twice. This ancient metal ring is a top-tier interspatial item. It's extremely sturdy, and it's almost indestructible. The space inside is several hundred times bigger than all the interspatial items you have combined. Furthermore, this ring can be used as a spiritual pet bag. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit smiled and said. Zhao Feng was overjoyed as he sent his consciousness into the ancient metal ring. He could faintly feel a large interspatial dimension that was at least 1 mile wide. One had to know that normal interspatial dimensions were only a few feet wide, while the bigger ones were only a few yards wide. However, an interspatial item that was 1 mile wide was almost unheard of in the Azure Flower continent. Moreover, this ancient iron ring could be used for storage as well as spiritual pets. Meow meow. The little thieving cat's figure flashed and disappeared into the ancient metal ring. With this ancient metal ring, it would be much more convenient for Zhao Feng to do things in the future. Finally, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit introduced the Black Pearl. This is the 10,000 Ghost Pearl, a sacred item of the Ghost Dao. It contains a large amount of Yin Ghost Corpse Qi and is suitable for raising ghost corpses. Normal ghost corpses can be placed inside and their cultivation speed will be dozens of times faster than in the outside world. The 10,000 Ghost Emperor used this pearl to raise an army of 10,000 ghosts that swept across several 2-star sections. Zhao Feng took the 10,000 Ghost Pearl and looked at it. The grade of this item was several levels higher than the Black Lotus he had stolen. It was obvious that the Purple Saint Partial Spirit saw that Zhao Feng was interested in raising ghost corpses, so she gave him this 10,000 Ghost Pearl. It wasn't just the 10,000 Ghost Pearl. The Jade Dragon protection and the ancient metal ring were also of great help to Zhao Feng. After putting the 3 items away, Zhao Feng was about to get up. "Yu Fei, we'll meet again." Before leaving, Zhao Feng looked deeply at Zhao Yufei. Now that Zhao Yufei had become the successor of the Purple Knight Sacred Lord and had taken over the Purple Saint space, she would probably have a lot of things to do in the future. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit was extremely smart, and she gave these things to Zhao Feng in hopes that Zhao Feng would take care of her in the future, especially before Zhao Yufei grew up. In reality, with the relationship between Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei, even without these things, if Zhao Yufei was in trouble, Zhao Feng wouldn't just stand by and do nothing. Shwa! Zhao Feng leapt into the purple crystal door in front of him and his figure disappeared. In the next instant, the entire Purple Saint ruins started to tremble and space rippled. Zhao Feng also disappeared from the Purple Saint dimension at this moment. The purple crystal door disappeared. Yufei, although this person doesn't have the bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races, his left eye has a huge origin and is definitely related to the 10,000 ancient races. If you can become husband and wife with him, you'll benefit both of you. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit's dreamy eyes contained a smile. Zhao Yufei, who was sitting cross-legged and refining the crystal key, immediately blushed. At the same time, in the limitless ocean, Shwa! 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 Figures appeared out of thin air above the peak of the towering mountain. These figures were the geniuses of the 3 sections. Some were disappointed, some were surprised, some were angry, and some were unwilling. The magnificent power of 3 Void God Realm Kings shook everything within 1,000 miles, and it was as if space itself had been frozen. Every time a genius was sent out, the upper echelon of the 3 sects would question them. At the very end, even Yi Yanyu and Zhuang Wan were sent out. The inheritance path to the Purple Saint ruins has closed. The golden skeleton said emotionlessly. The 3 Void God Realm Kings suddenly sensed something. There seems to be an unknown existence that came out from the Purple Saint ruins, but it didn't appear at the inheritance path. The moon-robed Saint Nun's eyebrows furrowed as she closed her eyes and started to sense. I also sensed it. The golden skeleton and the demonic Tao King both felt the same. The instant the Purple Saint ruins closed, Zhao Feng was sent out. However, the 3 Void God Realm Kings were able to sense an unusual disturbance. Who was that unknown existence that had been teleported to that foreign land? The 3 Void God Realm Kings had an answer after thinking for a while. Firstly, the inheritor of the Purple Saint ruins could be excluded. This was because the inheritor needed a long time to take over the ruins and couldn't leave. Secondly, the geniuses of the 3 sects could be excluded since they all had an inheritance token. Furthermore, sending a being far away without the help of an inheritance token would expend a lot of energy on the Purple Saint Partial Spirit. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit wouldn't do something like sending a genius disciple of the 3 sections. Then, the answer was very clear. Only Zhao Feng, who had helped the inheritor of the ruins, could receive such treatment. I can't sense him anymore. The moon-robed Saint Nun closed her eyes and connected with the youngling scorpion in her palm. Void God Realm Kings had incredible methods and could easily control the youngling scorpion. However, the youngling scorpion was too far away from Zhao Feng and its cultivation was too weak, so it was hard for it to sense Zhao Feng. Looks like that Zhao Feng isn't in the Tianluo Islands, but with the Purple Saint Partial Spirit's abilities, she shouldn't be able to send him too far. He might be from one of the nearby islands. The moon-robed Saint Nun had an idea. Right now, all she needed to do was raise the youngling scorpion to a certain level and increase its senses. In the future, it might be able to find its master's general location. Zhao Feng had disappeared from the Purple Saint dimension, so the youngling scorpion was the only clue. Far away on the other side, in an unending stretch of desolate forest, a sparkling amethyst door of light appeared out of nowhere in the forest. It even caused the primal energies of the universe to become abnormally restless. In that instant, the surrounding heaven and earth seemed to tremble as wind, lightning, clouds, and rain intertwined. The appearance of the purple crystal door seemed to be suppressed by the surrounding heaven and earth, but it was still able to stand in this area. Shwa! A blue-haired youth walked out from the purple crystal door. The phenomenon in the surroundings caused all the ferocious beasts and demonic spirits in the forest to tremble in fear. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye instantly opened and he murmured to himself, "This purple Saint Partial Spirit's methods are immeasurable. She's connected two places and sent me back to the Azure Flower Continent." The instant he appeared, Zhao Feng smelt a familiar aura. The aura of the Azure Flower Continent was completely different from the Purple Saint dimension. The aura here was extremely similar to the 13 countries where Zhao Feng came from. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled and he guessed that he had been sent to a small corner of the cloud area. There were 13 countries and 2 strong countries in the cloud area. Apart from the countries themselves, most of it was barren land. The desolate lands belonged to the undeveloped wastelands and were usually occupied by large amounts of deadly beasts and demonic beasts. Even some experts at the true spirit realm didn't dare to take the risk. Because the barren land was too big, Zhao Feng couldn't determine which corner of the cloud area he was in. Sang! Zhao Feng's figure leapt onto the top of an ancient tree and instinctively opened his god's spiritual eye to check the terrain. However, as soon as his god's spiritual eye opened, his expression changed. His eye. Zhao Feng felt a swelling pain come from his left eye. What's going on? Zhao Feng's consciousness entered the dimension of his left eye and the freezing pond in the middle of his left eye was rippling and reaching almost 90 yards. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.